spice up your life.
When you fly business class, it's not just the onboard experience that counts. No. On Emirates, all this starts on the ground with chauffeur drive service to the airport and relaxing lounges. Wherever you're flying to is a unique journey filled with impeccable service, onboard Wi-Fi, regionally inspired dining, and up to, wait for it, 6,500 channels of entertainment. On flights from Dubai, you can even socialize in the exclusive A380 onboard lounge.
A holiday in South Africa sounds something like this.
The brunch with girls, the spot, the paragliding.
102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu. This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day. SpiceFM. Online, mobile, and on radio. Facebook at SpiceFM KE. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Good morning, and traffic as we speak right now. There is nothing much to report about, but we can confirm the fact that we have traffic along Ngong Road. This is due to the fact that roads have been vehicles pretty much plying the bypass, that is the southern bypass, have been diverted at the Ngong Road interchange. That is why along Ngong Road towards Haile Selassie is packed at the moment. But as we talk about other roads in the CBD, nothing much to report about. People have travelled from Nairobi. The roads are cruising smoothly. Waiakwe is the same situation. We talk about Thika Road, nothing much to report about. But as we talk about Landis Road around the bus stations, that is Machakos bus station, including Railways bus station, a little bit of movement here and there. But we talk about Jogoo Road as well, is moving smoothly. All the other roads as well as moving smoothly. Talk to us, let us know what the situation is in the roads that you are using. But that notwithstanding, remember to be safe. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is the 27th day of December, the year of the Lord. That is 2024. In studio with me, niko na CT Muga. CT, habari yako?
Salama sana. Eric.
Eric,
Yes,
I take it.
Eric Dennis.
I take it. Yeah.
Morning Dennis.
Morning, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
I love your combination today. Your
Napenda
shirt,
combo, eh?
your kofia.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
I have told you before, you are a man of good taste.
Yeah. Comes with the territory.
Yes. Territory notwithstanding. Yes.
How was your Christmas and Boxing Day? Quiet.
Yes.
Wow. But it was good actually. 25th, I was here though. I was here for 1 p.m. news. We had mbuzi choma, mbuzi fry, mbuzi wet fry, mbuzi chamusha, everything here. Yeah, plus it was my birthday, so I was also surprised.
Mbuzi toka wapi kwani?
City.
Si mali mbuzi utoka eh?
Mali mbuzi utoka, lakini jua hii town bana.
Yani manze juaga town bana, usiwe tu kutundi.
Yeah, but it was really
But ilikuwa sawa lakini eh?
Ilikuwa sawa.
Very glad. Sasa umeingia third floor?
Nimeingia third floor bana.
Third floor inaonekanaje bana?
Third floor. Optimistic.
Third floor is good.
That flow is good.
Although third floor is very good.
Yeah.
You'll be amazed at how good it is. But you'll also be amazed at the challenges it's going to come with.
Yeah.
Aina mambo mengi third floor baba. Lakini nzuri hiyo.
At the other time, yeah.
Yes, ndio.
Yeah, and Boxing Day, still quiet.
Do you know why is it that day called Boxing Day?
Because that is when you get to unwrap the boxes, gifts and
ile zawadi ambayo umepewa.
Yes.
All the gifts you receive during Christmas, that's the day you unwrap them.
Yes.
Okay.
Any boxes you
For me?
Yes.
No. I didn't unwrap any boxes.
Still quiet.
The one of the things that you realize about advancing in your years, what you'd end up celebrating is what other people are celebrating. Because there are certain joys that you had in your youth, you had when you're in the 3rd, 4th floor, 5th floor. Now I'm on the 6th floor. Unless it's something that I derive the joy in what other people are enjoying. What I would like is exactly what I keep telling you. I'd rather simply go for a walk, hang out, read a book, watch a movie on a day, and think that for me is a good day.
It's a good day.
Yes.
And I agree, Sidi. So Sidi, today we're going to be doing things a little bit different, yeah? So today we shall be having a guest host who's Zara Indimuli Diana Lucy. She'll be our guest host today. But today we will be going through the events of the year 2024. How has the year looked like? So that is from January 2024 all the way to December. So we're going to canvass a lot of things that created and made conversations in the year. And with that, we'll also give our listeners to call in to be able to engage us, to give us their views, just so we get to hear what they have to say as well, yeah?
I think it is appropriate because this is our last live show for the year until the new year begins. So we'll likely be wishing our listeners, viewers, friends, thanking the many, many guest hosts who graced this particular forum with their presence. And yes, we'll be thanking them as well for making the show what it is, because in the absence of the people I've mentioned and the people you never quite see, the producers, the people who are working digital, you never quite see them. And you're talking about people who actually manage the larger picture of the organization and even this particular show. And then those who even began the show many, many years ago, 5 years ago, people like Tom Japani, people like Brian Obara. One tends to forget that in the absence of these people, this thing may not have been there. You look at people who started the show with, like Nyeri Thorne, who was a guest, who was a host in this show. All these people and many others made a contribution that made it possible. And then there are those who decided to actually venture and be bold, advertise with us, work with us, trust us with their products. All these people and many, many, many more. And the people who every morning without fail comment, every morning without fail listen and want and talk to us and communicate to us. Without these people, there would have been no show to speak of.
True.
None whatsoever.
Yes. And some of us got this show when it was ongoing. We became part of it in terms of reading news. Now, opportunity, we are here sitting in, holding fort for Eric. And then, all this has been made possible by those who started, the likes of Tom Japani, Brian Obara, Evusa, everybody who's been here, also the producers, man, from Juliet.
Yes.
Every
John Mudhui. Yes. All these people.
Yeah.
And one of the things that has also been encouraging on this show is the collaborative nature you have with our sister station Radio Maisha Berur.
Yes, KTN.
My friend, those early days when we'd be sitting here early in the morning and there'd be four of us reading the news. That is before COVID visited us.
Yeah.
And then, my friend, there's one particular group of people I must thank. The people who develop the playlists.
Yeah.
There are people who listen to the show because they started listening to the music at the very onset.
Yeah.
The music that was played then, reminiscent of the 70s, reminiscent some of the 60s, 80s. And they resonated with the music. And when the show came on, they now started resonating with the show.
Yeah.
So a lot has happened over time. And a lot has happened to bring the show to where it is now. And to all these people, we are grateful and we say thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, City, let's take a break. When we come back, we salamia people, we look at the weather and all that, right?
Yes.
Sawa sawa.
Spice up your life. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with SpiceFM.
This morning in various parts of Nairobi and the world as we start, various parts actually of the country and the world. Nairobi 23 degrees highs and lows of 14 degrees. We go to Kakamega County, highs of 30 degrees and lows of 12 degrees. In Mombasa, highs of 31 degrees and lows of 25 degrees. They say kuingia Mombasa ni rahisi kutoka bala. Now in Nyeri town, highs of 24 degrees and lows of 12 degrees in Nyeri town there. And in the lakeside city of Kisumu, Oyaure Mkosalama, highs of 29 degrees, lows of 18 degrees. In Nakuru city, Kenya's fourth city, highs of 27 degrees and lows of 12 degrees. And we cross the borders to Kinshasa, Congo, DRC, highs of 32 degrees and lows of 23 degrees. And we go to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, highs of 22 degrees and lows of 8 degrees. And in the city of love, that is Paris, our highs of 5 degrees and lows of -1 degrees. Pretty cold in Paris, France. The same situation would be experienced in China, highs of 2 degrees and lows of -6 degrees. Talk to us, tell us where, how the weather looks like wherever it is you are in the parts of this world. Good morning, that's your weather.
This festive season may not be the happiest moment of your life, but there's always something to celebrate. Something called life. Where hope has died, every new year brings with it new hope, new beginnings, and a chance to do everything that you hadn't done before in the hope that it will turn better. Rejoice in the reality of your life. Rejoice in your health. Rejoice in your family. Rejoice in simply being where you are at this point in time. And rejoice in having the ability to have hope as you look into the future.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
And it is 18 minutes after 6 a.m. Good morning, world, from wherever it is you are listening or watching us from. In studio with me is CT Muga. CT, let us look at the dailies today. Yeah, just let's look at what we have.
Yes, let's.
Yeah. Let's look at the Standard. Smack in the middle of the Standard today, we talk about uproar over abduction of state critics. Now, a wave of abductions targeting government critics has sparked fear and outrage, with young social media influencers among those disappearing. Police have denied involvement, but civil society politicians and families are demanding accountability. Now, how Kenyans celebrated the birth of Jesus, that is Christmas Day, that is with the image of the coast. People enjoying the salty waters in Mombasa, could be anywhere, either Diani or Kilifi, and PS leading conservation of key forest as well. That is on matters to do with environment conservation. And affordable housing still a hard sell. City, are you surprised? Are you surprised why affordable housing is still a hard sell?
Do I understand why it is a hard sell?
Are you surprised?
You know, I wouldn't use the word surprised. Not really. For many people, the idea of affordable housing was new. And like with new things, you anticipate, but you're also apprehensive because you're not certain.
Yeah.
And then the worst thing about it is, as a concept, it is appealing, and it's something that people would like to realize. Where it now becomes daunting is when you wait and you don't see the fruition of it. Then that's when now the problem arises. But prior to that, it's just a normal process that people go through when something new has been introduced to you.
Yeah.
See, the apprehension would have been reduced significantly if one kept hearing of, yes, there's affordable housing, these units were finished, this number of people, money to buy, money to get, money to this. So you know. And the next phase we're moving to is this one. That story hasn't been heard, and if it's been there, it hasn't been loud enough. Yes, that's part of the problem.
Part of the problem. Also, I think it could be a hard sell because of how it was packaged.
Yes.
Because of how it was packaged. And 2024 was a good year for school games. Yes, that I agree. It was a good year for school games because we saw high schools perform better, go to East Africa games and do well as well. So it was a good year for school games.
Yes, it was.
I can't say it was a good year for Harambee Stars though.
No, that particular star was slightly dimmed. But that's why there's always a new year.
Yes.
If you're a soccer lover, you will understand that this just falls into the pattern of ups and downs within the sport.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean that next year will be the same.
Yeah.
There have been years when it was good.
Yeah.
This year it wasn't so good. So we look forward to the new year.
Yeah. And now, secret route or Uhuru talks that led to deal. Now, long before the Wairimu talks, President Ruto and his predecessor Uhuru Kenyatta held a secret meeting in Boston, USA, which marked a turning point in their bitter rivalry. City, which other paper do you have there?
The Star.
The Star.
I have the Star newspaper. Interesting paper, this one. Let me just read some of the headlines making news in the Star.
All right.
You are mistaken. DCI dismisses Omtata claim their car used in abductions. Okay? Our car. Abductions. Nada. My goodness. Manmohan Singh, Indian ex-PM and architect of economic reform, dies at the age of 92.
Crazy.
Okay?
Yep.
Right. North Lagos Songa residents experienced Christmas with a difference.
How different was it?
Well, they focused on hygiene, education, and sports.
Okay.
This was slaughtering helpless animals and gobbling them up in huge quantities. None of that took place. Now, back in the middle of this particular paper, lady reported abduction presents self to police. She told detectives that despite her photo going viral, she wasn't missing Naomi as alleged. So, this story of abductions or no abduction, who abducts and who doesn't, what the IG knows and what the IG doesn't know, this one is going to do the rounds for quite a bit. And it's going to raise many questions because the question always arises, okay, now you are the IG. So if you don't know, who should know?
Who's abducting?
Exactly.
Yes, who should know? I mean, you had this unit that's supposed to oversee this security, so you don't know. So where does that leave us? Because, as we're citizens, we're civilians. So, but there's always more to this story than meets the eye.
It meets the eye.
Yes. The thing that I know for a fact is this. These high positions that people have are never simple to manage because there are very many moving parts. We only see what is presented to us. But the moving parts are so many that if you're a new IG, the first thing that you experience is called shock. Because what you think your work was and what you suddenly realize it is, two completely different things.
Yeah.
So we need to give this guy around 6 months just to figure out just how to maneuver.
Yeah.
I actually like the position he has taken currently. I don't know. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Because the worst we'll do is insult you.
Yeah.
Say ignorant, you don't know, blah, blah, blah. But that's it. But if at this point in time he opines on a subject, that subject will be picked up and man, it will move.
Yeah.
So for now, IG, safe position, good, you don't know. It's okay.
Yeah. And Zaha is here. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you guys?
How are the 2 days?
Hey.
Eventful?
Yes, very eventful, I believe, but still very interesting. I think it's just been abductions on my end as well.
Yeah.
Just hearing about it. And then I don't know if you guys saw the Kitengela 3 story.
Tell us about it.
Let's do this, dear.
Break.
Let's take a break. Salamia watu, then we dive right into it.
We dive into that. Yes. Okay, fine.
All right? Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Traffic this morning, nothing much to report about, but let's just look at the roads as we speak at the moment. Mombasa Road seems to be flowing, but as we go towards Landis Road, it is busy, and that is due to the bus station there, which is Chacos Country Bus, which is busy at the moment. We talk about Wayaki Way, nothing much to report there, all the way from Kabete Polytechnic is flowing all the way to the CBD. But as you talk about Mombasa Road, Lolongo coming towards Nairobi CBD, nothing much to report about around Next Gen. Remember, there is that diversion that has been closed towards the southern bypass that has forced all the trucks to go through down Uhuru Highway all the way to Wayaki Way. You will be experiencing a lot of trucks on the roads as well. But other than that, the roads seem to be flowing smoothly. But talk to us, tell us how the situations are in the roads that you're using this morning. Good morning.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Good morning. And City, I think let's say hi to people who are listening to us this morning. Right, shall we? Let's just go to and start with Desmond Ortiz, Hello Spice Radio, and listeners, love you all, we love you. Back Collins Kamei, good morning, happy new year. Please don't get abducted and have a good day. Just the conversation that you're having here a little bit earlier. And as well, the Kikombe is checked from the sunny island of Phuket. May your six-pack you prayed for at the beginning of 2024 be awarded to you the next 3 days. Amen to that. Rosalind Nekesa, happy holidays, SpiceFM from New York City. Baridi huku, where? Don't worry, huku, the weather is actually doing us some justice. Now, the Kikombe, I have not seen Adon Sabos and writing Ama Serikali has done the meme thing to him. Well, only time will tell. Joseph Gemma, good morning, Team Spice from a very stormy Daman City. And Anthony Wawiru, I hope, Joseph, you are safe. Anthony Wawiru as well is listening. Paulo Kobaridi, New York City. Anthony Wawiru as well, happy holidays. Paulo Kobaridi, Berry Bethwell, good morning from Wamatangis County, that is Kiambu County. Don Sabo, the new PhD on the block. City, you have, yeah, but not from the Engineering Christian University. Yeah, you know all about that honorary degree that was issued to engineer Sudi.
Yes.
Yes, you know it was recalled, yeah.
Why?
What do you call it?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, I understand the why not question, but I need to understand why. Because there was a reason it was given in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry,
Apparently that university has not been credited to issue such.
What are they accredited to issue?
That's the question.
So they just issue what they're accredited to issue.
Yes,
but then the others can come later.
Yeah, so now even the engineering board, the Engineering Association of Kenya and the university...
Wait a moment, they gave him an honorary degree in engineering.
I don't know in what really is it. There's a lot of conversation.
An honorary degree,
yes,
is precisely that.
Mm-hmm.
It is an acknowledgement of achievements that somebody has given, and the university affords it to you because of what it is they feel you have done to contribute to a particular field. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, so the engineering board says, Toyo Jina Engineering hapo bwana. We only want people who have gone through the process and are registered with us. Toyo kitu engineering hapo bwana.
So...
Linus Gitonga, good morning, happy holidays. Robert Mbogo as well is listening to us. Jojo Koth, good morning, people. City Dennis, wish Eric and Princess Ndu a happy new year. Happy new year to them. And you're listening from Miami, Florida. We have Stephen Machoka, good morning. Don Sabo as well. And we have Sandra Sharia, good morning. Costa Rica. And we are doing good. We have Don Sabo as well. A Ahmed City, like your message on hope as hope, the soul anchors the soul. Why is it buffering today? We are having that sorted out. Victor Lesa Yuan, Tuna Sotio, Bere Bethwell as well. How can someone deduct you money for a house that you won't own. City, that's the conversation you're having earlier. Nisha Van Hoek, may God protect our children. John Nyeri, the Situation Room crew, good morning. You're watching us straight from Raleigh, NCUSA. And Rahim Tula Omar is listening from London. And everybody else who's listening to us and watching us, karibuni sana. We now go straight to our top story this morning. We talk about matters to do with abduction, which has been well articulated in page 4, and questions raised on fresh spate of abductions as IG exonerate police. Now, the question on ever Kenyans' lips is, who could be behind the fresh wave of abductions targeting the youth? Now, police yesterday distanced themselves from the growing menace amid increasing pressure on government to explain why people are being randomly picked and held incommunicado, with some being killed and their bodies dumped. Now, a pattern is emerging about those being targeted to be social media enthusiasts critical of the Kenya Kwanza administration. The latest abductions involved Bernard Kavuli, Billy Mwangi, Peter Muteti and Gideon Kibet, all kidnapped after posting on social media. Now, Kavuli was picked on a petrol station in Ngong Town Sunday evening by 4 armed men who bundled him into a vehicle and sped off. A fourth-year journalism student at Mount Kenya University, the 24-year-old Kavuli's seizure is linked to his comments on X platform in which he criticized the government. There have been 13 more cases of abductions or enforced disappearances in the last 3 months, bringing to 82 the total cases since June. 7 abduction cases were reported in December. City. The interior, pretty much the police are being accused of the abductions. Yesterday, the IG comes out and says, we don't do that. The PS, Raymond Omola, as well, says, the police do not abduct, we only arrest. Comment.
You know, if you were to take what has been reported as gospel truth, then again, the comments raise more questions than they raise answers. One, let me take the view that the IG doesn't actually know. Then, of course, the question would be, what do you know? It is stated that the police are investigating to figure out who these people are. Okay? I'll park that there. Then there's a question of the reality. The people who are being abducted, do they organize to get themselves abducted, or are they individuals who very consistently and very methodologically have been abducting people? In that same article, there is a comment by security expert, somebody who was formerly a GSU trainer.
Yeah, Jojo Musamali.
Yes, who says, well, the manner in which this thing is being done is what you call a military precision. These are people who are trained. You can't do what these people do. These are not just, thugs who are trying to abduct someone for whatever reason, the various reasons. So you then ask, are we saying that there are within this country groups of individuals who have that sort of training, who are engaged by other individuals within the country to do precisely that, abduct people? Because the training bit, they say, it appears it is so. Then the other question that also arises is, these are young people who post. Man, people post.
And they're not planning to stop.
People post. If it's posting, who isn't very much engaged in social media, know they post. Why these ones? What is it that they said that other people have not said?
Yeah.
Some have said probably worse. What is it about them that made them be picked up? What is it that we don't know? Lastly, whenever one deals with matters of security, I am loath to be opinionated emphatically and specifically because there's a lot I don't know. I honestly have no clue. And that's why I raise the questions. There are individuals who you will be told, so-and-so is an activist. Is that all they are? Is that all they do? Is there something else they do that we don't know? What else could they be doing that we do not know? Because we are told about what is in the public domain and what we know. Some will say, but these are kids. Yes, they are. They're young people. What do we know? Not specifically these ones. There are many people who have been abducted. Why were they abducted? I raise these questions because a long time ago, we used to have situations where there's a guy called Bernard Shaw. No. Bernard Shaw was actually a writer. This particular Shaw was a gentleman who was associated with the police force. And many deaths, many people who had the tag of being thugs and who were gunned down in this very Nairobi, it was attributed to this gentleman called Shaw. Okay? It is said he spread terror in people's minds whenever he came. And it was also said most of the times he would look for these so-called thugs, speak to them, speak to their families and say, this guy had better change. If he doesn't change, he's dead. It is said so. How true that is, I don't know. But that there's always been an existence of certain units within the security forces in the world whose job is to eliminate people. Unfortunately, history bears witness to that statement. There are people who it is their job. Okay? And their job is not to ask too many questions. Is they are instructed and they follow. It's the nature of that particular job. Mm-hmm. So is this what we're seeing? Or are we seeing a situation where people whose task it is to security by doing certain things, are there elements within them who have, as we say, have gone rogue, who sort of just assign themselves functions and duties, engage these individuals to do that? As I said, there are so many questions that arise. Yeah. And that's why the position that the IG took, if I were him, I'd take exactly that same position.
It's safer.
Yeah. It is much safer. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But since when did we start arresting people for satire? Art has been used over time to communicate criticism to government. What is this about AI-generated pictures that gives these few individuals a whole rank to be abducted?
But
what are they trying to get rid of? Because I saw in the Constitution they talk about treason as well. If we tend to either maim or make it look like we're trying to cause or spread a rumor on death on the president, that it's treasonous. Is it true?
It's wishful thinking, really. It is wishful thinking. Treasonous it becomes treasonous when you have evidence to support that particular view. And you can see this is what has been done. But so long as it's just a statement you're making, how on earth can that be treasonous? Or are we saying this? Again, there's information that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But again, how many people post, for heaven's sake, in this country?
The retweets, the tweets.
I know.
It's about how many people do post, but as well, how many people just have these conversations.
Yeah.
Because there are those conversations that will never make it to the social media, and people are having these conversations.
Yeah, it's trending because a lot of people are talking about it.
Yes, and the reason why they actually end up on the social media is because these are conversations people have had, and there are those who feel like, I might as well just post about it. But it's a conversation that has been had somewhere before it lands on social media. So
it continues to be had.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. There are people who I am certain the security forces know are an imminent danger and threat. They are such individuals, okay, whose means is their methods, their thinking, they are destructive. Such individuals exist. Are we saying that these individuals who've been abducted fall into that category? What is this imminent threat that they represent? What is exactly is it? Again, other things we can be told. Other things we will never know. Other things which, for purposes of, again, security matters, it cannot be revealed to the public. I mean, again, so many questions. What exactly are we dealing with here? Because the abductions are taking place.
Yeah.
And City, let's just read what Musamali said. According to security experts, the precision of the abductions can only be carried out by well-trained individuals and not ordinary criminals who might to have the audacity and the capacity to do such missions. George Musamali, a former Embakasi paramilitary police college instructor turned security analyst, believes a parallel unit answerable to the IG could be behind the wave of abductions. That a few rogue police officers might have been selected to do the dirty job of instilling fear in and silencing government critics, akin to what used to happen in 1990s when a few officers nicknamed security homeboys tormented those who attempted to stand against the regime. This is the work of government, and those involved are a few hand-picked officers with a specific brief. They are not answerable to the IG, who is taking a lot of flack, yet he is in darkness of what is happening.
That closely makes much more sense. There's some You see, there's abductions happening in places like shops, or dragging a human being from a barber shop that would present, okay, let's do a security analysis after. Let's go check the CCTV. Let's find witnesses. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And they know we called out the Subaru. The Subaru
boys.
So now they're not using Subarus, they're using pickups, they're using Pro
boxes.
It looks like the same thing we saw in June, just a replica around the fact that now we're targeting social media influencers. And I think for me, the government itself, if at all the hearsay is true, that we do have some particular rogue police that are proudly doing this, there's so much to focus on right now that I think us having a whole government focusing on Twitter and Instagram users is actually a call of so much immaturity within their political department. But that's just up to me, because how is it so easy for them to capture Twitter fellas in their homes and in barbershops, yet the Kware guy has not been caught, the suspect. Serious people have not been found with all these technical initiatives that we have within governance. What is so different about this one? How is it so fast with their misplaced priorities? It doesn't make sense.
Usually you will find that what has happened is an individual, it's usually not many people, who seems to think that this is the real problem.
Yeah. And AI.
Yes, this is the real problem. And they've got it in their heads that this AI thing is the real danger. And so that's what they're focusing on. So, again, the real question is, what's the government scared of?
Yeah. What is it about the imagery that gets you very frustrated, that you require abductions?
A special unit to deal with city.
You know,
Still they come grab you from here.
That's fine. What I find strange is don't they see that this very thing they purportedly are fighting, they're the ones who are giving it life?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's a certain footage that I saw online. There's this individual. I think the guy was arrested. I think it was in Rongai, if I'm not wrong. And the guys who came to arrest him had AK-47s. Smack in the middle of the day. There's this guy who comes to arrest you dressed in civilian outfit, raises their hands up, and there is handcuffs behind them. I mean, who has handcuffs in Kenya? Who walks around with AK-47 during the day other than police officers? So even as the IG comes to say that they are not the ones who abduct, they're not the ones, all they do is arrest. I mean, do your officers identify themselves to the people they are arresting?
What is the constitutional requirement for an arrest?
For an arrest, yeah.
You know, they're supposed to tell you.
They're supposed to tell you and why they are arresting you.
And I'm taking you into custody because of this and this and this.
And I'm taking you to this police station.
You know,
it is so specific.
There's something that we don't quite... let me talk about myself. I don't understand. I honestly don't. All this. Because this is the reaction I would expect when there's been a coup attempt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe they look at June 25th as a coup.
Oh my God. You know, when I see PS Omolo again, you know, during the 10th protest when the police officers attacked us and all that, he came to the TV again on Jeff Koinange and talked about, you know, that was a grave mistake. We didn't know. They don't know anything, really. So that accountability is not there. We shouldn't expect that from this place.
This story of I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm going to run with it.
I don't know.
No, I'm going to run with it. And I'll tell you why I'm going to run with it. One of the things that is very common when a government stands rattled is you will find there are very many things happening that not everybody's... People who should know don't actually know, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Because you assume that the reporting structure, the power structure is consistent. When a system is rattled, that isn't the case anymore. No. There are pockets of power and pockets of operations.
Yeah.
And the left hand may not know what the right hand is doing, in all honesty. They may not know.
They may not know.
They may not know.
But in all these conversations, City, let's go back to June 25th, yeah? And we're saying that we were conducting investigations into what happened on June 26th, the people who are Kenyans who were shot there. And you remember even the DP saying that we cannot really ascertain that the people who were shot were actually shot by the police. But let's go back to the command structure and how police officers are actually deployed. I might be wrong, but I know for a fact that when a police officer is being deployed, that gun has a serial number.
Yeah.
For a specific armory. And every police officer is given a certain number of bullets to live with, right? And that is also recorded.
Yes, and when you return, you record everything.
Everything, right? The same way you took it is the same way you return it. So are we saying that on that day, when the police officers were returning their guns and their bullets and taking account of how everything was spent, that today the government, the Interior Ministry, the police service will stand and tell us that we took stock, these are the number of bullets that was spent, and of every bullet that was assigned to a specific police officer, investigations are ongoing, and so have either been suspended as investigations continue. We're trying to find out. And also for people who are shot outside Parliament, have we recovered those bullets to take them through ballistics to find out if these bullets actually came from our guns? Is that the kind of investigations that we are seeing, or is that something that we should not know?
Dennis, you seem to be of the opinion that the police service are accountable to you. They are not.
But they should be, no?
Oh, no. They should be. They must.
Yes.
They must. In fact, if there's a service that has to have transparency, it's that one. Yes, but if take the view that we've had very serious cases where individuals who are considered to be a real danger have been found within a day or two. There have been problems that we thought this one can't happen. Someone murdered somewhere, and the DCI sort this thing out for you, clean, clear, and with evidence. Same police service. And then something like the Quarry murder or the suspect taken to a cell
in Gigiri,
and then he walks out. There's another guy who also walked out of Muthaiga.
Muthaiga police station.
Just walked out. Yes,
it doesn't make sense.
So the question you must ask is, what on earth do you think is happening within the service? That is the 10 million shilling question. What is happening? Because in my opinion, there are parallel, conflicting, numerous. There are all sorts of things at play. And there are certain things which probably even go above the head of the IG. That's why I said, that story of he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
Me, I'm going with it.
He actually doesn't know.
It is very likely he honestly has no clue.
Yeah.
He and a fununu. But as to clarity,
perhaps maybe we even know more than him.
What we'll do is we're going to invite the IG in the new year.
Yeah.
And we'll ask him to come over and probably talk about some of these things, because all we're doing is guessing here.
True.
Yeah.
He knows.
If he doesn't have an answer, so where exactly do we go?
Better still, I'll call Raymond Omolo and I'll ask him to come.
Yeah. That's our city. Let's take a break. We come back and talk about KCB to Jiajiri and what they have to offer, right? After this break.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start.
Very well. Now, welcome back. Now, City, we want to talk about the KCB to Jiajiri program and what it has to offer to the young people. Now, I'll just take you through what KCB has to offer. Now, KCB says that youth unemployment continues to be a challenge for majority of the African continent. which is a fact. In Kenya, how many youth do we talk about who enter the labor market?
1 million.
1 million, exactly.
Every year, 1 million.
Yes, which marks about 12.7% of the youth aged between 15 to 34 who enter the labor market. Now, KCB Foundation established the Tujiajiri program in 2016, not yesterday, 2016, to empower and equip unemployed and out-of-school youth aged 18 to 34 in the informal sector to start and grow micro-enterprises. Now, KCB Tujiajiri combines vocational skills training, business development training, access to finance and business mentorship. It is designed to prepare them for entrepreneurship, thus spurring the growth and development of micro, small and micro enterprises across the communities. Now, the youth are trained in key sectors with the highest job creation potential, including construction, manufacturing, beauty and personal care, domestic care, automotive, creative economy, ICT, sustainable agriculture and climate change, as well as health. KCB says if you want all this information, all the youth out there to be given the skills, to be taken through actually opening businesses, you go to kcbgroup.com/foundation. City. The youth in this country remain being unemployment is a reality.
It is, but we must laud all these private entities who have taken upon themselves to undertake a task that is actually primarily the government's. Because the function of government not to get jobs but to provide an environment, and you could argue that if you have financial institutions like KCB coming in to do this, the environment provided by the government makes it possible. But beyond private entities or quasi-private entities, there's always the case to be made for actual direct government involvement, an injection of either funding or thought processes that guarantee that this very thing that we're seeing happens. Because we do the TVETs that KCB sponsors people to are government TVETs.
Yes.
They may be private ones, but they're predominantly government. If you're talking about the grade tests that people undergo, they are government grade tests. Okay, so the government has a structure which, at some level, we feel they themselves haven't fully utilized. So it's now taking individuals within the economy to see these structures and to see how best this can help the youth. Yes.
And you see, Zaha, as we talk about matters to do with other TVETs that do exist, big economies like Germany survives on TVETs, pretty much.
Literally.
Switzerland. TVETs.
Estonia.
TVETs.
TVET.
What makes it not work here?
It works. It's just that it limps as it works.
It limps. We're not giving it the attention. Because remember, even Kenya was built at the backbone of TVETs, pretty much.
Yeah.
It just got to a point where we started saying, let's go degree.
It was more prestigious.
Yeah.
And also, remember, it came at a time when we honestly didn't, have a sizable body mass of people who had gone to university or had acquired higher learning capacities. 1, 2, the TVET model was seen as a colonizing tool and a demeaning tool that was given to Africans so that they could learn these skills that only require minimal thinking, but a lot of energy put into it. Yes. So people want to move away from this and become more like the colonizer, whose level of education was commensurate with the jobs they had and so forth. And so we neglected this sector, and yet we had invested adequately in it.
Yes.
We actually had secondary schools that had a direct leaning. They taught regular subjects, but the leaning was science-based or technical-based. And they actually called technical secondary schools.
Yeah.
And they were all over the place. Every big town had it. Yes. Now that was in understanding, and just like every big town had a polytechnic of sorts. So there was the understanding that when one graduates from this school, they've already taken a line that they're going to pursue. But somewhere along the line, that particular ball was dropped badly. Yes.
Yeah, and City, as well as we talk about that, are there some TVETs as well that teach aeronautics, that is matters to do with flying? But as we talk about flying, why don't you take us to over 140 destinations?
Well, no better time to perhaps utilize those services than now, because here you are thinking of traveling. It's a season when people want to travel, you want to visit places. If you're talking about Kenya, it is good you travel in the manner you have chosen to travel, but should you wish to travel outside the country, let me talk about a choice that you'll find quite irresistible. The airline is called Emirates, and there's an Emirates business class. Now, that business class is a little more than just a business class. I would call it a luxury. I take care of you to the point where you actually wonder whether it's actually you, sort of like service. That is from the moment you decide to go to the airport to board the plane. You board the plane. The services that are offered to you. The things that are there to ensure that your journey is a memorable one, and that you not only travel that one time, but you'll be talking about it, shouting about it, and wanting to travel again. Limousine service. Regionally inspired cuisine. Something to titillate your palate, something to drink, rest. If you must rest, do you want to sleep? Sleep. The seat, that thing can recline flat. And if you think that you're going to have to sleep in the suit you wore, no. You'll be given pajamas. And then you'll be given a duvet. Now, pajama you can keep. Duvet you leave. Okay? You wake up and you're thinking, what do I do? Well, let me tell you what you can do. You can actually continue working because there'll be Wi-Fi. Or, on the other hand, you can entertain yourself. 6,500 options, my friend. Hey, you can even watch for 2 minutes change, watch another one for 3 minutes change. If it's music you want to listen to, as I said, you'll be spoiled for choice. Then when you land, the same service that took you to the airport will take you to your destination. On your way back, same. I mean, hey, talk about a repeat performance. Then you've gone there, it's done, then you're on your way back again. Hey. Anyway,
It does not get any better than that.
it's a bit difficult for it to get better than this, to be very honest. But in case you don't believe me, why don't you book your next journey using Emirates Business Class? Yes.
Yeah, and I'll just give you another story. There's a time I was flying and we go to a certain destination. We're connecting now back to Kenya from Bole in Ethiopia. And while we left our duvets, at the lounge I saw some people with duvets trying to cover themselves. So, So if you're flying... If you're flying Emirates business, remember, duvet, you leave.
On the plane?
Yes, on the plane. Yes, you leave. But pajamas?
Those are yours.
Those are yours.
In fact, if you want to walk out of the plane in pajamas, by all means.
Better for you.
Yes.
Better for you.
Yes, better for you.
Would you travel Emirates?
Yeah, 100%. I'm actually in for the sleep part.
Sleep
And
part.
I know the caviar, some good
My friend,
champagne.
there are some serious things that can happen to you that
Yeah, but I think priority becomes just you having a quality flight that doesn't. It's like a luxury Airbus. So 100%. I think I should be checking out soon.
Yeah. When you're lying, you lie.
flat.
Flat.
You actually sleep.
Flat. Yeah, because I've seen it. I've seen content creators who do it, and I'm like, the thing can rotate even. You can switch positions. You can. It's like you have a whole room
Yes, actually.
in a
you do.
plane.
You do.
You do.
It's yours. And then the wonders that Emirates have brought to you, my friend. It's a class of its own.
Yeah, it is.
All right. It is 20 seconds actually to the top of the hour. Edwin Lesamira is coming in with the Newswire. See you at the top of the hour. Good morning.
Spice up your life.
This is the Newswire. I'm Edwin Lesamira. The Directorate of Criminal Investigations has rubbished claims by Busia Senator Kiyom Tata linking them to the rising cases of abductions and kidnappings across the country. In a statement last night, the agency denied claims by the senator that one of its vehicles was used in the abduction of Gideon Kibet, but acknowledged that it was aware of the missing individual. The DCI said detectives were fully committed to expediting investigations in the alleged abductions and urged the public to refrain
refrain from making speculative statements that may hinder the progress of ongoing investigations. On Thursday, Omtata shared a photo of a white Subaru alleging that it belongs to the DCI and was used to abduct Gideon Kibet.
It's now clear to me that the white Subaru vehicle in issue with communication gadgets mounted on its roof belongs to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, which owns similar vehicles, and that it was trailing Mr. Kibet. That's what has now come to unfold to me. Hence, I demand that Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim Amin, the Director of Criminal Investigations, and Mr. Douglas Kanja Kirocho, the Inspector General of the National Police Service, come clean on the abductions and unconditionally release Mr. Kibet immediately. I also demand that they take similar action regarding the abductions of Messrs. Billy Mwangi, Peter Muteti, and Bernard Kavuli, and Mr. Kibet's brother, who were also abducted under the watch of the two police bosses.
Meanwhile, the judiciary has raised concerns over the growing number of abductions targeting government critics. In a statement on Thursday, the judiciary urged security agencies and all connected entities to adhere to the law and safeguard fundamental rights and freedoms. Police have denied involvement in the abductions, maintaining that they only arrest law offenders through lawful procedures. 82 individuals have been abducted since June this year, and 29 are yet to be traced to date. That's according to the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. On Thursday, the Commission chairperson Roslyn Odede stressed the need for unconditional release or presentation in court of any illegally detained persons, including those still missing. She urged the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja to come clean on who's behind the abductions and embark on immediate investigations to arrest those found culpable. Kanja, however, denied that any of the abducted persons were being held at any police station across the country. Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi has reiterated the government's support for Raila Odinga's African Union Commission chairperson's bid. Speaking in Vihiga County during the 45th edition of the Maragoli Cultural Festival, Mudavadi said the government's support for Odinga is not pegged on preconditions.
And I want you to pray tukiwa hapa 26th of December. Let us pray so that by mid-February, kwa sababu kuanzia January niko kwa barabara tena kutafutia Raila nafasi za kura katika mataifa zingine. Mimi nawaomba tuombe, yeye ni ndugu yetu, ni rafiki yetu, apate ikifika katikati ya February tuwe tunatangaza kwamba Raila ameshinda na yeye sasa ndio atakuwa chairman wa AUC. Without conditions. President William Ruto is supporting Raila for this without conditions.
A section of Kenyans have claimed that the government is supporting Odinga because he played an integral part in quelling the Gen Z-led anti-government protests that almost brought President William Ruto's government to its knees. Finnish police are investigating whether a Russian ship was involved in the sabotage of an electricity cable running between Finland and Estonia. The authorities said on Thursday that they believe the anchor of the Ego S, a tanker registered with the Cook Islands, may have damaged the EastLink 2 cable, which became disconnected on Wednesday. It's the latest in a series of incidents in recent years in which underwater cables in the Baltic region have been damaged. The operator of Finland's national grid said EastLink 2 remained out of service, but that the damage did not endanger the operation of the electricity system in the country. Repairs are expected to take several months. That's the Newswire. I'm Edwin Lisamira.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
And as promised earlier, all about traffic, nothing much to report about really. Nairobi seems to be easy, but around the Railways bus station and that is the City Stadium roundabout, there seems to be a little bit of traffic, but not so much as compared to last week. And that is due to the bus stops that are there that are ferrying people in and out of the city. But when you look about Waiyaki Way, nothing much. much seems to be happening. We look at Mombasa Road, nothing much. But if you're trying to access the Southern Bypass has been there has been diversions. The road is under maintenance, so be careful as you approach that area, and also as you use both Waiyaki Way and Ngong Road. There have been diversions, a lot of trucks on the road due to the ongoing maintenance on the Southern Bypass. But other than that, nothing much to report about. The roads are clear, but you could equally just talk to us and let us know how the situation is wherever you are. That's your traffic this morning. Good morning.
Fly Emirates and experience a new level of comfort in business class with daily flights from Nairobi to Dubai and beyond. Stretch out and relax in flatbed seats, enjoy delicious fine dining, and explore up to 6,500 channels of entertainment. From Dubai, you can experience the Emirates A380, where you can connect over cocktails in the exclusive onboard lounge. In Emirates Business, you've arrived the moment you board. Book now at emirates.com. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
And it is 8 minutes after 7 a.m. And welcome to the Situation Room. Eric Latif is resting. Festivities is spending time with family in Ndu Oko as well. But we are here to hold fort. I'm Dennis Aseto. CT Muga is here, and Zaha as well is here as a guest host as we just talk about the year in review 2024. How does it look like? But Stephen, as we talk about how the year has been, we're still in the festive season, and there is a lot of shopping going on. And let me just tell you what a Loop is doing now. Loop is not just an app. It is a what, like city? It is a lifestyle, providing you with the tools and solutions you need to live your life effortlessly. Now, with Loop, you get access to payment, credit, and saving services, while at the same time receiving personalized journeys and deals to complement your interest and needs. Now, and in this festive season, Loop is your ultimate plug for all your shopping needs. Now, through the Loop Shopping Festival, which is ongoing in various malls, is coming to a mall near you. Loop has got you covered with credible ideas and deals with a wide range of merchants, including City, Electronics, Hotpoint. You want to do your house shopping, Quickmart. You want to buy shoes, Bata. You want to buy carpet, Tax Center, ACT. You want to enjoy your coffee, Java. Let's talk about traveling, Bountiful Safaris. And as well, City, you want to upgrade your phone, Oppo is there. You want to get makeup, I promised you makeup, by the way. Linton's is there to sort you out, City. As well as Mook, Simbisa, City, Chicken Inn, Pizza Inn, and Creamy Inn as well. And City, your Mercedes-Benz, the gold one, Shell is there as well. You can use Loop to get fuel, and Phone Express as well. Lifestyle Hub, among others. City, don't look at me like that. I'm just telling you the things you can do with Loop. And this festive season, Loop is offering you all the incredible and amazing deals to cater to all your needs. The Loop Shopping Festival, you get incredible deals and offers, plus you get 10% cashback. City, go to Shell, fuel your Benzo, 10% you get back, and up to 5,000 at participating partners when you spend 2,000 shillings and above and pay with the Loop app or card. So, do you have the Loop app, City? Do you have the Loop app?
The question is, as previously stated, I do.
You do? For those that don't have, you can actually just download it at Google Play Store and App Store. Tap the Discover button and enjoy fantastic and amazing deals. Why wait? Loop it. Download Loop today.
Okay.
Lintons, remind me. New year, new things.
You have a golden Mercedes.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
You actually believe the things that Aseto says on live radio?
Well, I've seen Sonko's cars, so...
Yeah, it actually has really, really pretty beautiful wheels. City ujalo utakuwa anyway.
Oh, yeah.
City, we love you. Yeah. Yeah. Now let's talk about the year in review. Let's just look at the first quarter. That is January to April, the year 2024. And if we just look at that now, at least we talk about the floods that came immediately after the worst drought. And you know what that happened? Nairobi. Actually, even Sakaja was to buy us boats.
Oh, wow.
Eriko Mondi was building a safina.
Oh, yes. And it actually saved a lot of people. That small safina he had actually saved a lot of people in Mathare. While Sakaja was planning to buy boats.
Planning is good.
It's good. Yes.
Always planning.
Well, anticipating.
Well.
And hoping that it'll work out.
But there's a whole disaster response unit in department.
Yeah.
Okay.
NDMA, National Disaster Management. Not even national government.
Yeah, even in national government. So that wasn't a disaster enough.
What's it called again?
NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority.
Okay.
Yes.
So they're supposed to manage disasters.
Yes.
Anticipate, plan, execute.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a word with Eriko Mondi and Sakaja. Tell them, guys, what we anticipate, can you guys move this thing along? And the sort of disasters that we have go beyond just having a unit.
Yeah.
Yes. And this country experiences floods yearly.
I actually think
yearly
Nairobi experiences flooding whenever it rains.
Yes, it does, and we know why. So it isn't as though we're dealing with something that cannot be anticipated.
Yeah.
It can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because as late as was it last month, November?
Yeah.
When Nairobi was flooding. Yeah. So are you surprised?
But what's the point of authorities like NEMA and these other meteorological spaces if we don't listen and plan?
Well, essentially, NEMA and say the Met Department is there to give us early warnings and all that. But even as the citizenry of the Republic, how do we take that information? Like you're being told it will rain. What do we do? How do you dispose our plastics and all that?
Options. You tell me to move to where? You want to demolish the house. Where do I go? Like halfway planning.
But let me ask you this question. Even if I do know it's going to flood, what do you think I'm going to do?
Because you can't reverse the rain.
I live in Mathare, and I don't live there because ordinarily I live elsewhere, but during the flooding season I prefer to move to Mathare. That's not the case. That's where I live every single day.
Yeah.
And suddenly you have a situation where you're saying there's a flood. What am I supposed to do? The reason why you have units such as the disaster management unit is so that in the event that such an occurrence is anticipated, the very thing that Zaha said, you tell people, move here.
Yeah.
Avert the problem. We've got this place arranged. Go here. You will find safety. The things that will make your life safer are here. Now, the question is, did that happen?
No.
Never does. In fact, when the flooding happens in informal settlements, response is almost absolutely not there. But small flooding in Runda, even the fire brigade
will move there.
And also the questions that were being raised by most people there, it's like, do we have a classist way to respond to disasters? Is it that when a fire happens in Kangemi and when a fire happens in Westlands, for some reason the road will be cleared for Westlands very quickly?
But what does that say about us?
True.
Because all these things speak about us as a people and how we operationalize our priorities.
But isn't that what happens in a capitalist system? Classism.
Yes and no.
A differentiation.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no in this sense. A capitalist system enables you to exercise whatever abilities you have to the best of your ability. If it's making money, make as much as you can. But that's where the government then comes in to ensure that it provides equity, make money, we will tax the hell out of you, but make it. Because in the absence of all the other people, that money can't be made. You need to make your money.
Yeah.
So we tax you. If you look at countries, the Scandinavian countries, who have a certain socialistic leaning, that's what they do. You can make money. Make as much as you can. But you will share. Now, that is the same thinking that I think was introduced with this health service that we talk about.
Sure.
Where if you earn more, you pay more.
You pay more.
Up to that point, they've got it absolutely right. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. However, it's when we operationalize that we start having hiccups.
Yeah.
The thinking part is fine. If I have more, yes, I should be able to carry my weight plus the weight of other people. That I understand. But it doesn't quite work out that way. You see? We have a plan. We are told this is what is going to happen, and we wait for it to happen. If it doesn't happen once, we say, maybe mishap, what Kenyans call mishap. If it happens a second time, it's no longer mishap. This one is not a problem. Third time, we say, no.
All right.
All I'm saying is, we did see people responding to the disaster. We did hear government units like the county government speaking. But did it meet the needs as was anticipated? Did we have a situation where things actually worked for the betterment of those who needed the help?
And as we talk about matters to do with the floods, I will just go back to like the Scandinavian countries as we speak. You'll go to cities like Netherlands and France, and people live next to the water bodies.
Yeah.
And you look at how they've secured the water bodies, the concrete that they've erected to enable people to live close to the water. Some of the best fine dining in this world are next to the water bodies in these countries. Now, as we talk about matters to do with, say, Madare, where people are living next to the water bodies, NDMA is there, the national government is there, the county government is there. If your people are living next to the water bodies and there is no space where they can go to, and you do not have space where you can take them, how about you construct such erect walls that will prevent the people from that water? We do not plan.
Can you imagine it's that chaotic and it's a river?
Yeah.
If it was an ocean inside here. Constructing.
City. Let's just say at least 238 people were killed in nationwide floods.
Yeah.
Now, in March as well, President William Ruto announces an agreement with Haiti to deploy 1,000 police officers in a mission approved by the United Nations to combat gang violence in the Caribbean nation. So let's just go through the first quarter. And then March, there was that accident, a flight accident that killed a trainee pilot, and 18th March as well, a bus carrying university students from Nairobi to Mombasa collides with a truck in Maungo, killing 11 and seriously injuring 42. Now, 4 people, including 3 police officers, are killed in a bomb attack near a hotel in Mandera. That is March. Now, April, the head of Kenya Defence Forces, General Francis Ogola, dies along with 9 other military officers in a helicopter crash. And the same month, Mayu flash floods happens as well. 50 people are killed and 5 people are killed in a bomb attack in El Wak. That is the first quarter of the year 2024. City.
Bombs.
You know, every time you look at the year in review and you look at some of the things that stood out, you have to ask yourself, are there any good things that happen in this country?
Yes, well.
Yeah, because everything you've read so far, someone died, this happened. Oh yeah, we sent people to Haiti. General Ogola passed away with 9 other people. 4 people, including a police officer, died in a bomb attack. Hey, my friend.
Bombs.
Maui flash flood, 50 people. A U.S. official announces President Joe Biden's intent to designate Kenya a major non-NATO. Okay. This is what happened. But is anything that we can look back and say, okay, despite all this, something good did happen?
January. We had a very good, a very powerful end Femicide march nationwide, which was the first of its kind. And we did break records because it was one of the biggest between East and Central Africa that necessarily just focused on women. And at least we brought that education to light. One or another, I think that was good in a way, because it was not just an element of social justice. Women did come together, and it was a celebration all over town. So yeah, at least January had something.
Yeah.
Now the rest, honestly speaking, it went just to Ogola.
Yeah.
Then is there anything positive that happened in that particular period?
Valentine's.
Well, yes, that is definitely true.
That is definitely true.
Valentine did happen, and truly it is good. Yes.
And I think also as we just look about at let's look at even matters to do with floods. It is a sad thing that happened to the country, but let's look at now the planning that has what that has forced. Now, if you look at like Mombasa Road as you speak right now, the drainage that is being improved and all that is as a result of the floods that happened in the country. So as much as we had the negative things that happened in the country, but let's look at what that has forced the administration to do.
Should be asking Engineer Sudi before they reclaim his degree. Do we put these drainages before or after we build these roads?
The drainages actually exist. The question would be, how do we maintain them? How do we service the drainages? It's not that we don't have them, we do.
You do?
Yes, you build a road, it's part of a road.
In some places it's been put right now.
Yes, it means it was part of the planning, just someone didn't put it. Yes.
Entrepreneurs.
Yes, you build the planning and designing of a road come with all these things.
Okay.
Now, it's standard. This is not magical. It's not a favor someone is doing. It comes with all these things. It's understood. It's all understood. This is something this is proven. This is not something you need to test drive. It's what has worked. It has been understood. And that's why you find that many roads in the rural areas have this concave.
Yeah.
Yes. The understanding is so that water doesn't sit on the level. It drains. And must drain somewhere. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think as well, while there was a lot of that happened as well, Kirinyaga governor says that remarkable strides were made in various aspects of governance. What about governance would you say that is positive about the country?
You're asking me the question.
Yes,
positive about governance.
Anything about governance in whichever case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The some of these things are best understood from a comparative position, because when you have something, what is normally human is to take it for granted because you have it anyway. Okay. When you talk about governance and you're asking about statecraft and you're asking about ensuring that the citizenry have a fair shake of it. One of the first things that I would look at is, are we in a country where, for instance, the media is free? The answer is yes. The media is free. And again, if you were to compare it with other media services within this region of ours, even go, in fact, talk about, let's talk sub-Saharan Africa, and then count the number of countries who have the sort of freedom that we have. You go to South Africa, you try and go to Zimbabwe with that nonsense and see how far it will get you. All I'm saying is, yes, there is. The fact that even a show like this one can be on air and we're having this discussion, I don't need further proof that, yes, when it comes to certain freedoms, yes, they are there in the Constitution and they are alive and well. The thing about freedoms is that they are always challenged. It doesn't matter which society you belong to and which developed society, they are always challenged. Even in the so-called most democratic of countries, they are challenged. Okay? And that challenge is important because even freedom can be tyrannical. You assume that it's supposed to liberate and set people free and give them all the good things. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the complete opposite. So if you're talking about the positivity, I would count that as positive. Yes. If you look at the fact that we have a situation where we talk about abduction, we talk.
Yes.
In many countries, you don't talk about abductions. We are a country where we have seen the law and the constitution being put into action. One, the number of governors who have been threatened, and the threats have been made real.
Real.
Okay? Then we look at the highest office in the land, the presidency. The deputy president was actually impeached.
Impeached, yeah.
Live, gone, dusted.
Yeah.
Is the system working? Yes, it is working.
Yes, it is.
Now, you can complain about how and where and all, but do we see it being operationalized? We do. Mm-hmm. So if you're talking about that particular aspect, I'd say yes. Mm-hmm. And then we continue to say, this is wrong, and we're saying it. That is something to celebrate. Yes.
Mm. Yeah. And I think as well as we talk about some of the positive things that I think happened out there, as much as it was surrounded with a lot of criticism, and also its implementation was not so good. Let's go back to the affordable fertilizer. We know the entire conversation around affordable fertilizer. Yeah. Good idea. Farmers need to do A, B, C, D and all that. We have a problem around it, and as Kenyans complained about it, the former cabinet secretary for agriculture is no longer in office as a result of kelele wa Kenya walipiga, and also due to Kenyans going to the streets to demand for accountability and things to be done right. Yeah, today the individual who was holding that office is not there because the buck stops with him. But let's go even further in terms of how much we have produced as a country in terms of the maize and all that, and even the inflation rates that we experience right now. It's true, cost of maize has gone down. A lot of that's true. And even the amount of maize that we produced this year has gone high due to the availability of this fertilizer and all that. So in one way or the other, fine, affordable fertilizer had its own problems on the implementation. It had its own discrepancies here and there. But if you look at what that has done in terms of helping the country be food secure, I mean, that is one thing to say, job well done, but we can always do better. Yeah.
By the way, Gedi Ruins was added on the World Heritage List.
Yes.
Is that government or culture?
Government is culture, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Same
is
thing.
it?
Yeah.
Same WhatsApp group.
Yeah, and I think these are things to celebrate. Every year we say, let's go to Masai Mara, perhaps right now.
Yeah.
Let me go to Gedi, because it's been given another lease of life, because it then embodies Kenya as having these, having history that means something to people, and it has been recognized globally,
Remember, the government had the forecast for maize production was 17 million bags. We got 60. We did have a bump up. And if you look at what the government had been saying about the fertilizer and saying, we will experience a bumper. And they said, it's not going to be now.
Yeah.
They said, give it time. Now, the problem is, there's always a flip side to this. Whereas with a bumper harvest, the farmers are now saying the maize is going to cost less. So we're going to have a problem because we will not be able to probably realize the profits that we had hoped for. But did we have a bumper harvest? We did. Has the price of unga, as we call it, gone down? It has.
Yeah.
Okay? So it isn't as though it hasn't. It has. But the key question here is not that. Even with the low price, can people afford it? So that's the flip side now.
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting. I think also this year we have seen a very high surge of Kenyans being elected in various political positions. We have Ireland, the first black mayor being Sinoi. She's from Narok. We also have Minnesota. Yeah. So I think politically we're doing great. Then we have our first female attorney general.
Yeah.
As well. The first, this is...
even the Sigei is first, by the way.
Yeah. There's also the Major General. Major General in the Air Force.
Oh, yeah.
The first.
Yeah, the first.
I think for the, what's this called?
Those are firsts.
Those are first,
and just count. Look at the key positions.
Which are good.
First, Major General in the Air Force. Lady. Chief Justice.
That's a lady.
Lady. Attorney General. Lady.
It's a lady.
Those are many firsts.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
So far.
So in terms of just as a republic doing well, we have things that we can celebrate about.
We also won the National Cup, Max's, the netball.
Netball, yeah.
Kenya beat Singapore.
Oh yeah.
In what?
Netball.
That one passed me by. We did.
61-33.
Yeah, we also have the Harambee Starlets, the juniors who are in the World Cup. You know? Yeah. I think Harambee Stars should.
This year, I think women, we have really outdone ourselves.
Proud.
See?
So, positive things didn't happen in the country, didn't they?
They did.
Yes.
Collectively, they did.
They did.
There are many people who you would point to some of the negative things that happen politically and then tell you, but it's a good thing. See, so and so left. That's not a bad thing, is it?
Yeah.
The point is, we sometimes get drowned in all the negative publicity. We actually forget that good things actually do happen in this country. For me, the thing that I considered perhaps, but that didn't come. That came in the middle of the year. So maybe when we get to the next quarter, I'll talk about that. Yes.
We get to let's take a break, yeah.
Yes.
And then when we come back, we go to the next quarter as we proceed, yeah.
Yes.
So, Ian, Jeff, we celebrate you this morning as well. Take us to this break.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
And it is 33 minutes after 7 a.m. And CT, I wanted to talk about Stand Chart, yeah? Let's talk about matters to do with wealth, right, shall we? Now, looking to secure your wealth and a plan for the future, City, Standard Chartered Priority Banking is your ideal partner in building, growing, and protecting your financial legacy. Now, Zaha, as the only international bank in Kenya with over 110 years of trusted experience, Standard Chartered connects you to a global network in 50 plus markets. They offer expert, personalized advice tailored to affluent Kenyans just like you. You understand? They realize what you do, and they say with investment options like foreign currency bonds, mutual funds, and Kenya government bonds, you'll earn returns in Kenya shillings. You have a dollar account, you are sorted. When you talk about the pound, it is there. Euro as well. Start thinking about it. Now, are you ready to start? They're saying, I just go to prioritybanking.ke@sc.com. Secure your wealth today. And Standard Chartered Bank has a dedicated member who will go through your wealth, see how to invest it, what will work for you. All you need to do is just go to prioritybanking.ke@sc.com. City, wealth, muhimu sana. As we get into the new year, I mean, everybody always wants to do well in the new year, and perhaps wealth is one of the conversations that we should be having as we get ready to get to 2025. So yeah, Standard Chartered Bank has got your back. City.
When it comes to wealth, there is. You can talk about it all the time, really. Yes, but you need to partner with the people who understand that process of creating it, retaining it, ensure that it actually meets the needs that you had set out to have it meet. Yes, and Standard Chartered to do a fantastic job with that. Yes.
Yeah. Now, let's go to the second quarter of the year, City. Let's go to May, and a U.S. official announces President Joe Biden's intent to designate Kenya a major non-NATO ally during President William Ruto's visit. President William Ruto's visit. You remember that 200 million shillings aeroplane?
That one. I remember. It's good to have friends.
Yeah. It's good to have friends.
It's very good to have friends.
Yeah. Zaha.
Friends with no benefits.
Friends.
Friends with no benefits.
No, just friends, because the benefits are there. Friendship has to come with attendant benefits. That's the truth. It does. It's supposed to be. The phrase I hear being mentioned by younger colleagues and people who I know who are younger, somebody's got your back.
I got your back.
That one.
Yeah.
So the reference point makes it clear that is the added benefit. Yes.
Yeah. But in terms of let's twist it. Public money being spent, 200 million shillings.
That was in the public domain. What other monies of the public are spent, and we have no idea how it is spent. So the 200 million shillings, I'll do the math and ask, is that what such a plane costs? You may actually find we got a discount. That's why I said it's good to have friends.
It's good to have friends.
The point is this. The issue around the spending of public funds is never going to stop being a major concern in the country. Okay? And sometimes an incident like that just highlights it.
Yeah.
But that is the public domain, so you talk about it. But again, when you look at the deficit, that always arises from what is planned, what is budgeted for, and what actually gets done. And this is brought to the fore by just one statement, pending bills. One.
Yes.
Because those bills are part of what is budgeted for, and yet they remain bills. So you ask, was the work done? Were payments made?
Yeah.
And we keep asking the question.
I will respond. Was work done? Yes. Were payments made? No.
No. So, are there people who've died as a result of it? Yes. Are there people who've been hospitalized and cannot recover? Yes. Do the pending bills keep rising? Yes. We are now at 900 billion. So.
Yeah. But on the flip side of that matter as well, you remember the president later came to say we will tighten our belts, cabinet secretaries will have to foreign travels and all that. And he actually started flying a local airline, KQ. It's a good thing that we started talking about it and we actually called for accountability and asked the tough questions. And later now we'd say that we saw the fruit of our noise.
Yes.
Yes.
It isn't noise, it's concern. It is loud concern, loud concerted concern that is based on fact, not on hearsay or wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I say this thing of being president is not easy. You come up with an idea of what it means, and then the public also now tell you what they think it means.
Yeah.
And usually when there's a harmony, when there's an understanding, then things move. When there isn't, then you have clashes. Because it's now no longer a question of opinions. But let me repeat this. Holding human beings to account. Leave the term president aside.
Yeah.
A human being with power. There are those who argue that power corrupts. I'm of a different opinion. Power, position, wealth, all those things. They just bring out aspects of you that existed but we didn't know.
We didn't know. Or that you're actually hidden.
Yes, there was no occasion for it to come to the surface. But now, because of that position, we get to see and say, I see. So this is what this fellow is all about.
Especially, City, when you campaign 2 years ago on the basis of hustler. Mimi ni mtu wa chini, So even going to the US, fine, someone would argue that him traveling using 200 million shillings gave us so much benefit in terms of the bilateral arrangements and agreements that we had.
You think it's the plane that gave us the benefits?
The next question would be,
yes.
But would you have done it at a cheaper rate?
The answer is yes.
Yes.
100%.
100%.
He was operating like the Nigerian president who decided to buy his own jet as well.
Yeah.
He's operating like the Nigerian president who decided to buy a whole, I think, millions in dollars of a jet that was equally very aged and second standard to Boeing. And when Nigerians started protesting after the Kenyan protest, the question was it necessary? And when you come to this expenditure in this country, genuinely, half the things they spend is unnecessary. Remember when we were told they spent 50 million on tea?
Yeah.
And just the other day, a crate of soda was 1 million.
Yeah, usually that's the normal price.
Yeah, that's the normal price. And you spend 9 million on stationery.
Exactly.
Does it then not also speak of the people who do that? What sort of people they are?
Yeah.
See, this is public money. I have been to government offices and I've drunk tea. It's really nice tea. All those are things that people eat me I've never seen. But tea I have drunk.
Is it so different from the one in your house? No.
No, not really. But it's nice tea.
With an opulence to the taste.
No, I'm simply saying it isn't a lot of water with 2 drops of milk in it. No. You can actually drink the tea and you get the sense that there was milk in this particular beverage. I'm simply saying one understands the role of refreshment. One understands the role of ensuring that a guest while waiting can receive. I can understand all that. The issue isn't the refreshment. The issue is the tag, the price tag that follows it usually.
Yeah.
You wonder, did it? So how much of it was it for it to cost this?
It's called bottomless tea.
Hey, hey, bottomless tea.
Don't ask questions. City. The second quarter as well. So we pretty much a sad day for the country when the judge was injured in a shooting outside the courtroom in Nairobi. The gunman, this Grant-told senior police commander, is shot dead by responding police, and later, sadly, the judge lost her life. Which begs the question in terms of the security of our judges and judicial officers, pretty much because of the kind of matters that they handle on a daily basis and their security vis-a-vis what they handle. Are we taking care of our judicial officers? Are we being intentional on making sure that they are able to discharge their duties free of fear? Because that man walked inside a courtroom with a gun.
He did. He was a police officer, and there's a case that involved him.
Yeah,
that's why he was there.
Something, yeah.
Yes, it involved the wife. Yes, but that a police officer has a gun is not unusual. What I don't understand is, are they allowed to come to carry firearms into a court? That is what I don't understand.
And especially when you know that the person at the dock is the wife. So if you know the way, case in point, let me use wife is at the dock in a matter that I'm involved in one way or the other, and I'm a police officer with a gun. Does it not behoove on the security apparatus to realize that this man should not have a gun in the courtroom, even if they are police officers, because the person at the dock is the wife?
He was a senior officer.
Yes.
And if you look at how it is that seniority and rank works within the disciplined forces, the people who are standing at the door inspecting are his juniors. How do you see that one working out?
But was he not shot by the same junior officers?
Yes, but prior to that, he just walked in.
Yeah.
It also tells you there may be many instances where you walk in with the guns. This is the first time this has happened.
Yeah.
Yes. And we saw even judges are threatened to withdraw services. You know, they actually even took a few days off to just mourn one of their own. And we know the disaster that caused, because there are people who had court dates. Your judgment day is today. Judges 0. And you know, once that has been moved, your next court date, you don't know is when, because remember as well, the ratio of judges to the cases they're handling.
The truth is that we don't have policemen shooting judges every day in this country.
Yes.
I have actually never heard of any other case before this one here.
Yeah.
I am simply saying that this case, in my opinion, I would now take it to the realm of mental health.
Thank you.
Like we discussed last time.
Yes. That's where I would take it, because if you are talking about a police officer with a gun gets to the point where they are deranged to the point of being annoyed in court, what state of mind is this person in? Because as I said, in my own living memory, I don't know of a case where a judge has been shot in court.
Yeah.
We've had judges or vices being shot.
Yeah.
We've had them.
But not in court.
No, there's one who was shot in Riara.
Yeah.
Some years ago.
Yeah.
But in court, it's never happened.
Court is different.
Yeah, which brings the question in terms of the mental health of police officers. Let's not talk about the country. Police officers and their mental health, because look at how much work police officers do, how much they're paid, where they live, and brings forth, because every day we will talk about, police officers are corrupt, yada, yada, yada. But if we do not take care of these police officers, then the matter to do with corruption and it ending, especially in that department, is zero.
I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and we were doing just a slight analysis on traffic police officers. Standing there for hours, no water, absolutely no shade.
Yeah.
You know how Nairobi drivers are, the congestion, etc. And I've seen in other places, in other countries, where they have installed AI systems to do like sort of crowd mapping, or rather just traffic mapping, to just help traffic officers fully deal with illegalities on the road and make everything okay. Just by that standard alone and how we do treat our police officers on the streets can just tell you a lot. But again, isn't this also a commission to just stand from being a force to a service? They're trying to adapt. Because essentially, even when you go to a police station, my God, they look exhausted, courtesy of the fact that maybe even the salaries that they do get vis-a-vis the trauma that they're exposed to doesn't necessarily balance out. So I think transitionally, we do need to sort of look at them again and revisit what mental health looks to them. Should be important. But just also creating psychosocial support systems for them to deal with the issues that they have to deal with, but equally to just create space for them to exist as persons, as parents. What happened to police circles?
They exist.
They exist?
They do.
It is actually one of the
There was one that was hacked the other day.
Circles.
It's a very vibrant circle. Very vibrant.
Is it not the one that was hacked some other time during the June protest?
It is very possible. I don't actually fully understand this concept of hacking, except from what I have read. But yes, and when I read it, I don't necessarily believe what I'm reading. As far as I'm concerned, this is what I've been told. Because I would then expect, okay, it's been hacked, and then
what happened?
What are the consequences of the hacking? And why is the hacking such an important topic? Because when you hack, then what happens? So if you leave it at they were hacked, I'll say, okay, they were hacked. All right. And that's
Millions are withdrawn and transferred.
The point you make, Zai, is an important one. There are many statements that are made that are blasé. They're sort of like, man, why are you telling us the obvious? What Kenyans call an obviosity. But it is true. Our police service are a really accurate reflection of who we are. They don't bribe themselves. We bribe them. We understand that they trade on inconvenience. I will inconvenience you unless you buy away the inconvenience. Okay? To understand it, you need to look at how the county enforcement officers behave. Some of the crassest, rudest. Anyway, that's enough for the adjective.
Please repeat it.
Crass. They are just about the worst form of human beings. Kanjo.
Yeah, for real.
It is not possible to come across a group as obnoxious and
that turn.
If you make a wrong turn, you know there was a time there were streets in this city that were two-way, then they changed them and it was one way. Yours truly did not understand this at some point because it had been a while since I was in the CBD. This is a while back. Now it's like they're waiting for you because they know.
And you're cruising in your beautiful Mercedes.
And then you realize, wait a moment. My car is facing this direction. Before you know it, you've been surrounded.
Yeah, fully.
Fortunately, my car is locked. So I rolled down the window. Said, you made a mistake. I said, yeah, I think I have. But this street was not always like this. I said, no. You have to go to county council. I'm thinking, wait. I've made a mistake. I can reverse and get out of this thing. For me, that is mild. I take Ubers, and there's nothing Uber drivers dread more than dropping you in town.
In town, yeah.
And they tell you.
Oh, my God.
See, this one, Chief.
I'm not going to town.
I'm not going to town.
Precisely.
Yeah, no. And you remember, we had that conversation with one of the hailing apps managers here.
Yes.
And according to the Uber or the taxi hailing apps, what they do is they're not supposed to stay stationary anywhere. All they do is round trips, drop you as they move, drop you as they move.
But when you drop, you have to be stationary.
Yes. Yes.
Then
So
they wait for you.
yeah, so you
You
find
know, parking fees. By the time can't you find your car, just
Yeah.
And these yellow things they put on your wheels,
oh yeah.
The thing is this,
it's traumatizing.
they are supposed to help maintain order. They don't maintain order. That is not their primary interest. Their primary interest is to extort you.
Yeah.
Okay? Now,
It creates disorder.
oh, they do. In fact, you talk to people who are in the app hailing, right? They'll tell you, you're better off dealing with the police officer any day. And you ask why. The police officer is the reason you can discuss, and they tell you, okay, fine, you made a mistake, go. They tell you, said, Kanjo. Said, and then the extortion is of amount. You listen to the person, you're asking, are you okay in the head? Meaning, there's a level of bribe we find okay.
Yeah.
But there's one which you
And there's
say,
one we.
you feel no, this too much.
Umekuja sana bana.
Doesn't that start when we give? Doesn't that start when we give kids a sweet or money to do an action, and then it slowly becomes I cannot do anything without being given some small element of bribery.
There is a point to it, but again, reward is necessarily a bribe, or is it a positive enforcement?
It is a positive enforcement.
Is an incentive? Because look at how we live our lives. Many things that we do because there's some attendant benefits to it, or the negative reinforcement. There's a fear of a reprisal that will harm you, so you'd rather not face the harm, so you move in the positive direction. It's again a design thing. It's how we human beings are designed, and that's how we function. When you smile at someone, they are very likely to smile back at you.
Oh yes, even a child, even a baby.
Yes. Babies usually are the litmus test.
Yes,
Not in CBD though.
CBD.
We are all angry there.
You know, it takes time before I get to the CBD, so I cannot speak about the CBD.
When's the last time you were in the CBD?
No, a couple of months ago, I'd gone to KCB. So
Which KCB?
the headquarters.
Kencom.
That's the one. That's what I know as the headquarters. There are very many KCB buildings, yes, but Kencom. I was at Kencom. But what I found strange is this idea that the city is dangerous. I saw people walking, talking on their phones happily. And
Well, it depends on the street.
Depends
also,
on the street.
let me ask you. Back then, right now, when you look at the lights around CBD, they've grown grayer, whitish. Nairobi has stopped being colourful.
Oh, you're talking about
that happened
the
a while back.
Yeah.
It's becoming very dull.
There was a city manager, a town clerk, who died some times back. That man brought so much hope to the city. It was planted. He made sure that there were plants. They made sure there were trees.
Yeah.
The city was clean.
Moyabe actually looked like Miami.
Literally.
The city was beautiful. You were not afraid to walk in the city even at night.
Right now, Avin, it looks like a dump site.
Yes, and you have an entire department within the county government whose job is to ensure. So what do they do?
City, you know, when everyone was campaigning, they were campaigning on the basis of tutawapatia kazi. What walipata kazi? But they did not take that job to serve them. They're there to get their salaries and bounce. You know, City. And that is the saddest part of where we find ourselves today. Because if you look at, I'll give you an example. Kisumu of today, 10 years ago, look at what Nyong'o has done to that town. You would sit and say, he's doing something about this town. He's changing what Kisumu is today. You come to Nairobi and
it's like we're going backwards.
You pass by wanazitanga machuom in between buildings, yeah? It smells like stench. People have peed everywhere, which goes back to again beg the question on our responsibilities as the citizenry of this city in taking care of our environment. How do you just stand in the middle of the street to pee? Like, who hurt you? Who raised you? Okay, City, yeah, that's the CBD for you.
As I said, I was in the CBD a while back.
Well,
Before that while back, it had been a really long while back. Okay.
Yeah.
And yet, that was our stomping ground. We looked forward to going to the CBD. It was lovely to go to the CBD. Yeah. Even when the malls started coming up, some of us didn't bother going to them. We still prefer to go to the
CBD.
Yes.
Yeah, and you see, even when we talk about people being afraid of going to the CBD, I find it so sad that even the CBD, what you're talking about in terms of classicism, there is specific service that you'll get past Moi Avenue, Harambee Avenue, Parliament Road, the government installations and all that, vis-a-vis the service you'll get after Moi Avenue, Tomboya, River Road, and as you go down. Two different services
in different prices.
Yeah, different prices.
Different prices.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, explain this to me. I think it's cheaper on the other side.
You hear River Road a lot.
I even know where River Road is.
Yes. Yeah. Let me do an example of a bag. There's a bag that you will buy somewhere, maybe at that side of a Stanley car route over there. That would go for like 7,000 Kenyan shillings, probably even the size of the bag that I have today. And if I just nicely wait for 4 p.m. and go to River Road, I will get it at 300.
100?
Yeah.
Same bag? And then I should go to River Road.
City. Yeah, but in terms of it is dangerous to walk in the CBD. Walking, that's why I'm like quoting.
It's very contextual.
Depends with where it is you're walking at the CBD.
And at what time.
And at what time as well. Because if you walk on what we usually call it's called the government, the government square. Government Square.
Which is Government Square?
Government Square is Parliament.
Harambee Avenue.
All those things there.
Those things.
Yes, including City Hall and so forth.
Yes, that side of town. Clean. Looking very nice and beautiful. River Road kwenda chini, zero service city. Zero service. It is where you will find people peeing because there is no one to check them out. They do not pick up. They do not do anything city.
And people have businesses on the ground.
We should actually walk to the CBD city.
After what you've told me, you actually want me to go and walk.
I will take care of you.
Plus, I think there's this conscious thing that happens in town where you can look like you need to be stolen for.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how do I need to look? Okay. Do I look like I need to be robbed?
So
no. I'm asking a serious question.
No. You don't. There's some element.
What do I need to do in order so that I
confidence, head high, look like you can fight and just walk. Should be fine. But if you look like you're always
checking back.
You're announcing.
But city, pretty much what we're trying to say is that the failure of service provision for the citizenry in equal measure. So it is a question of some areas of the city is being favored. You could even look at the services you get Dennis Prit, Kilimani, Lavington.
Yeah.
And just go to, Gitanga Road. Gitanga Road starts from Valley Arcade and it ends down Kawangware.
Yes.
Once you pass Amboseli, please just walk down and you'll see clear difference day and night. Day and night. In fact, further down, there's a place called Dandora along Gitanga Road. Dandora is synonymous with?
Dump site.
Dump site. Thank you.
That's where people have done things until it's encroached on the road.
Oh, yes. It's called Dandora.
Okay.
But still along what? Gitanga Road. Same road. Different services.
Okay.
Yeah, city. Let's take a break. We come back. We continue with the year in review as well as we talk about what KCB has to offer you, as well as we'll be flying to other locations as well. Let's take this break. We'll be back in a few.
Hello, Kenny Gidenji here.
Carado here.
Roy Karuhiza right here.
DJ Seda here.
And it's that time of the year again. The festive season is upon us.
On behalf of the Playground on Spice team, we want to say a big thank you for tuning in, engaging, and making this show a true home for sports enthusiasts.
2024 has been a year of ups, downs, and incredible moments in the world of sports.
And through it all, you've been with us, cheering, debating, and keeping the spirit of sports alive.
Spice up your life.
Good morning. This is the Newswire. I'm Edwin Lisamira. The judiciary has raised concerns over the growing number of abductions across the country, targeting government critics. In a statement on Thursday, the judiciary urged security agencies and all connected entities to adhere to the law and safeguard fundamental rights and freedoms. This even comes as the Directorate of Criminal Investigations has rubbished claims by Busia Senator Okiya Omtatah linking them to the abductions. In a statement, the agency denied Omtatah's claims that one of its vehicles was used in the abduction of Gideon Kibet, but acknowledged that it was aware of the missing individual. Omtatah had shared a photo of a white Subaru, alleging that it belongs to the DCI and was used to abduct Gideon Kibet.
It's now clear to me that the white Subaru vehicle in issue with communication gadgets mounted on its roof belongs to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, which owns similar vehicles, and that it was trailing Mr. Kibet. That's what has now come to unfold to me. Hence, I demand that Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim Amin, the Director of Criminal Investigations, and Mr. Douglas Kanja Kirocho, the Inspector General of the National Police Service, come clean on the abductions and unconditionally release Mr. Kibet immediately. I also demand that they take similar action regarding the abductions of Messrs. Billy Mwangi, Peter Muteti, and Bernard Kavuli, and Mr. Kibet's brother, who were also abducted under the watch of the two police bosses.
82 individuals have been abducted since June this year, and 29 are yet to be traced to date, according to the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. A woman featured in viral social media posts as a missing person following her alleged abduction has dismissed the reports as false. Claire Odindo Odhiambo, aged 20, presented herself at the DCI offices in Kibron Thursday to set the record straight about her whereabouts. The DCI said Odhiambo told detectives that despite her photo being used in the viral post on TikTok, she was not the person referenced. Meanwhile, the National Police Service has denied any involvement in the abductions of government critics. The government has continued to urge Kenyans to register with SHA to ensure access to quality healthcare services without financial hardship. Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi, who spoke in Vihiga during the 45th edition of the Maragoli Cultural Festival, urged community health volunteers to encourage Kenyans to register.
Na mimi nataka niambie wana afya hapa, wale ambao walipewa jukumu la kuwa 100 people in every county or every constituency wakusajili watu. We have to be serious. Wale healthcare workers, let us register our people, because if we do not get them to register, our hospitals will miss facilities, and the hospitals in other counties will get facilities because they are registered. Kwa hivyo huu mchezo wa sisi kufikiri ni siasa tupu kila siku, tuepukane nayo. We need good health for our people, and we must have them registered so that they can benefit like other Kenyans.
4 people have been rescued alive from the 7-story building that collapsed in Rongo, Migori County on Christmas Day. The 4 who were rescued on Thursday include a female security guard who was on duty when the building collapsed and people whose houses were neighboring the building. The county government says rescue efforts are continuing.
We are still ongoing with the works, excavation works, so to ensure that that can be disposed, so that we're sure nobody else is in that trouble. Nevertheless, we are also, as a county government, we are prepared. You have seen ambulances on site, ready for any emergency that might occur. At the same time, all our hospitals have been activated and are on standby to address any situation, medical situation that might arise.
Meanwhile, the National Construction Authority says it will conduct investigations to determine the cause of the collapse, noting that the building had been suspended due to structural integrity concerns. The head of the World Health Organization and other UN staff were at Yemen's international airport in Sana'a on Thursday during an Israeli airstrike. In a social media post, WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus said he and staff were about to board a plane when the airport came under aerial bombardment. The strikes killed at least 3 people, with more than a dozen injured, according to Houthi-run media. The Iran-backed rebel group described the attacks as barbaric after Israel claimed responsibility for the strikes. That's the Newswire. I'm Edwin Lisamira.
102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
And nothing much to report about traffic on the roads today. Many have traveled outside the CBD as we speak. But let me just take you through what we can see from our end. The major concern pretty much is around the southern bypass, which has been blocked off due to the maintenance that is going there. And that has forced the trucks to use Wairimu Way and Ngong Road as well due to the diversions there. So as you are using Wairimu Way and Ngong Road, be sure that you will be finding a lot of trucks on the road. But that notwithstanding, the traffic seems to be moving smoothly around the Railways bus station. Landis, however, is a little bit busy, but moving along Ngong Road, as I had told you earlier, is showing a little bit of traffic, but equally moving towards Haile Selassie before those trucks join Mombasa Road. And Mombasa Road as well, and nothing much to report about. City Cabanas all the way to the CBD is flowing smoothly, and Wairimu Way as well is moving. That is the situation on the road. Thika Road as well is flowing all the way from Ruiru all the way to the CBD is moving. That is the traffic this morning. Good morning.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's critical that people pay taxes. But then taxation has to have a limit. When you start overtaxing people beyond certain limit, then this is now we call robbery with violence.
We are all struggling, but we don't show. If you're not doing well, shame on you. But you have to say, I'm broke and I'm struggling. We are not okay until everybody is okay.
We are pretending to have political parties. Why don't we just be honest? And we say, these are the Luyas, these are the Kambas, these are the Kikuyus, and we find ourselves in Kenya.
You know, with politics and leadership, no matter what you do, there will always be a complaint. There will always be the assumption that you're either stealing or you're not doing things right. As a leader, don't fear. If you know you're doing the right thing, you've thought about it, you've got an expert advice, do it, then understand later.
This country, we don't need prayers. Prayers is between you and God. Good governance and thinkers who care about the country and not their stomach.
That's what we need.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
It is exactly 9 minutes after 8 a.m. Welcome to the Situation Room, and here we are talking about the review of the year 2024, and right now we will be jumping straight to the month of June. But before we get to that, City, the proverb of the day.
Yeah.
Right. We are still in the state of Eritrea.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. A fly that doesn't listen to advice follows the corpse to the grave.
Mm-hmm.
A fly that doesn't listen to advice follows the corpse to the grave.
Zaha, what do you think? What do you make of that?
Today I want to start with you.
City, repeat.
A fly that doesn't listen to advice follows the corpse to the grave.
I'll give an example. Kenyans, we do not want this finance bill. It is not making sense to us. It is expensive for us. We do not want it. It will pass whether you like it or not. Kenyans go to the street. What happens? Parliament is overrun by Kenyans. Later, the same finance bill, now an act of parliament, is thrown out. That's the fly that went to the grave.
Okay.
Zaha?
I think it, for me, just reminds me of the array of options you have to listen, yet we still choose not to. And so you end up digging your own grave and join the rest of the dead of thought, I say. So it's just a reminder to collectively be consciously a listener and to learn through whatever you tend to observe.
The researcher of the proverb, what do you make of it?
Well, flies tend to follow stenches. And and sometimes the stench, you may even get used to the stench, and flies like stenches.
Yeah.
So what often happens is you forget that whatever you're following emanates from something which in essence has died or is in the process of decaying. So what you're following is you're following the dead, you're following the decayed, you're following something that is no longer considered pleasant. Yes. So when you say follow a corpse to the grave, the corpse you may be following is your own.
Oh, yes. You're just escorting yourself to the grave.
Escorting yourself to the grave, because what you've done, you have aligned yourself with the dead. You've aligned yourself with the decayed. So you and them on the same WhatsApp group, as we keep saying. And that is the direction in which you're headed.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Makes sense.
Right.
I think as well, I will just throw that to those who are listening to us. You can tell us what you think of that proverb on our social media pages, equally on our YouTube as well. We shall be sampling some of that as well. But remember that today we want to give you an opportunity to talk to us. And for you to call us, our lines are 0719 012 600, 0719 012 600 or 0732 142 650, 0732 142 650. Talk to us. Talk to us about the year in review. What you think about it. We shall be having this conversation with you, because remember, like when we started the show, we said we are here because of you. You have made this show be what it is today. Therefore, we just, as we close the year, it is an opportunity for us to engage, for us to just talk on what we think about the year 2024 and even moving forward, what we should be looking forward to. City. But even as we wait for our people to talk to us, and as we now get into June, let's talk about KCB. So,
KCB is good.
KCB is good. And KCB is good because now over 1 million young people enter into the labor market annually. It's not a question of after 10 years, it is annually. And without any skills, some having either dropped out of school or completed school and not enrolled in any college. Now, KCB Foundation saw this as a problem and decided to form the Tujiajiri program. And this program empowers and equips the unemployed and out of school youth in the informal sector to start and grow micro enterprises. Now, what do we mean when we say starting to grow on enterprises? Now, since its inception, KCB Tujiajiri program has, here are the numbers, created 150,555 jobs, trained 35,195 youth, incubated 10,954 youth, disbursed 267 million shillings loans to support their enterprises, and issued 2,225 startup toolkits and trained 6,535 businesses on financial planning. Now, KCB has partnered with very many other partners, including Bosch, that is giving these equipment and tools to these young people after upskilling them and making sure that they are able to continue with their businesses, start their businesses, and even employ others in the process. City, a good thing for the youth, huh?
It is actually a good thing, and it's these sort of activities and processes that give people hope. We've had 2 young men who come into the studio who benefited from this program, and they speak clearly that in the absence of this particular intervention, they would not be able to act the living they're acting right now. And they both spoke of progress. They both spoke of how it is the business can actually grow, which means that there was always a need for the services that they're offering. There were 2 young gentlemen. None of them spoke about not having work. In fact, they all spoke about having more work than they know what to do with.
Yes.
Which means the work has always been there. But the people who can actually do it well and do it effectively are the ones who have not been there.
Yes.
So when we talk about employment, these are people who work, and they also engage other young people like them to help them do the work. They have become employers. Yes.
Yeah. Zaha, unemployment in the country is a forever problem.
Yeah.
Every political campaign season, we will create 1 million plus jobs. They recognize it as a problem, but we find that there is not much that the government is doing. But you see, partners like KCB are then coming forth to give a solution.
Yeah.
Just in terms of unemployment rates in the country, what would you say?
I think we emphasize and put a lot of work around believing that employment is only blue collar, in an office, in a building. There's a way we have projected success in this country to look as if it's supposed to go linearly a particular way, and which costs us so much. So right now you're finding, so I'll speak as a Gen Z, I make much more money on social media than I'd make in any singular office that I'd work in. And so it begs me to develop my digital skills. And right now we're also in a space where digital education has become so prominent. I can have my master's all the way from Harvard when I'm here. So I think it's one of the solutions that would make sense would be definitely to diversify what employment is, but also remove the employee structures of learning to an employer structures of learning, so that we can have entrepreneurs that are also very, how do I say, when I'm speaking to myself, most of the time I'm telling myself, this is a product that maybe I'm being given to market in a social media platform. What does it mean for me to either own either of each, the productivity of the product or the productivity of the service that markets the product? So it lets your brain circulate around so many options, and then you come and realize in the digital space that things are quite enormous. So I think if we diversify what employment would look like for young people, and also increase and create spaces for those opportunities to be made, we should be okay. We've been called Africa's Silicon Valley for the longest time, but we're really not up to the game, because opportunities are right now. The Data Protection Act is still very in shambles. We're also looking at a situation whereby the income generated by social media platforms is not translating very well into the economy, which I think if they tap into it would be very, very great. TikTok is about to be banned in the US. They're going to flock here. So it's going to be a very good time for us to diversify, but equally have and open a loop for more opportunities for people to learn, not just physically, but also digitally.
And you see, everything that you've talked about is pretty much what KCB has realized.
Yes.
And is actually tapping into that brain, giving you the skills you need, opening business for you, giving you proper advice. I mean, City, sounds really good. And City, after I've become an entrepreneur, I have money here and there, I want to go for holiday. Take me to the 140 locations.
There's one of our listeners has commented and said, what you're doing is very good, very nice, but man, you're not telling us what the cost is. Of course I'm not. Surely. I mean,
strategic.
I thought it was obvious. I'm not telling you the cost.
Yeah.
When you find what we are telling you appealing, then you will look into it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that will stare at you and speak to you loudly will be the cost. But it's important to understand what it is that you're paying for. What we are doing here is telling you that you have an experience awaiting you. You always spend money on things when you have money to spend. That is for those who choose to fly out of the country instead of taking a boat or taking a train. If indeed you wish to fly, we're saying there are many choices, but we want you to consider very seriously this one choice. And the reason we want you to consider is because of what you will get for the money you will pay. Among the things you'll probably do is compare what it will cost with other airlines. If you want to travel, and traveling is tiring, you hear words like jet lag. No, that's a phrase, not a word. You want to be able to arrive at your destination when you're fresh, when you're alert. In fact, you're feeling so good about yourself. It's like you've just left your house and you're going to the office. No, now in Nairobi it may not be that useful because then there'll be traffic and you'll be stressed. This one is minus all the stressors. And we're saying Emirates business class affords you a completely new sense of being taken care of. You leave your destination, we take you to the airport. You board the plane, we offer you food, we offer you drink, we offer you a place to rest, we offer you entertainment, we offer you a working space. And this is the best that money can buy. You're talking about serious quality stuff. Then we offer you sleep. Not reclined seat where at the end of your journey your neck is probably not your own. No. You sleep flat.
Yeah.
We give you duvet, pajama, those little things you wear when you're about to sleep. We give you, not lend, give. Duvet you have to leave. And then when you arrive at wherever you are going to, you are solid. We take you to wherever it is you're going. Then on your way back, we bring you back and afford you the same thing. But I mean, surely. It's worth considering at the very, very least.
It's good for the buddies.
Yes. If you've got money, take your partner along with you. Take your children along with you.
Yes.
If you have money. If you don't have money, save it up.
Then steal.
Go. And then call me and tell me, City, you're right. That thing is...
Experience these things once in a while.
Mind-blowing. Just let your money work for you. Emirates business class. Yes.
Yeah. And we only say you YOLO. You only
for the buddies, honestly.
live once.
I mean, at least you get to sit at the ally without having to squeeze your body through to go to the washroom.
See?
Luxury is just comfort.
Then it's your height and mine, we have problems.
I know, City.
You're sitting and your knees touching your chin.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God.
All right. So, City. A lot of people have responded to your proverb of the day. Let me just go through some, yeah? The Kamau family, proverb of the day in my interpretation. When we humans are pursuing our dreams, sometimes we are following a wrong path. And when we didn't listen to advice, we end up in bad situations.
That's a good interpretation.
Good interpretation?
Yes, it is.
Now let's go to the next one, yeah? The proverb reminded me of one mother who used to tell her daughter that wacha kurandaranda na wanaume. Now, she's a single mother of 6 teenagers with different unknown fathers.
Those are many.
6
is not a small number.
Yeah.
Especially where children are concerned. Because those are people who need to be taken care of.
Those
children are not flies.
No, children are not flies. And children have voices. You need to have children who are either adolescent or young adults in their 20s to understand that they have voices and they have mouths to speak.
Yeah.
They'll tell you things.
Have you met Gen Alphas?
Gen Alphas, yeah?
Gen Alphas are which ones?
The ones after us.
After Gen Zs.
Okay, where does Gen Z end?
2006.
That's you were last born in 2006.
Yeah.
So the ones who were born after 2006.
Actually, 2012.
2012, yeah, I think it's 2012.
2012, sorry.
So
2012.
2012, yeah.
Then anybody born after 2012 is a Gen Alpha.
Yeah, Gen Alpha. That what you saying? I don't want it. Yeah.
No, it's like, go get me the remote.
Yeah.
Why, mom?
Why, mom?
Why don't you want to exercise?
It's good for your health. Stretch your body. Arthritis
Why
is
do you
a
think
reality.
the way you think? Why are you shouting? Don't you want to communicate?
Anyway.
Critical thinking questions.
Now let's talk about Gen Zs, yeah? June 2024.
We're on to the second quarter, are we?
Second quarter.
Okay.
Now let's go to the second quarter now. Here we have one person is killed and while at least 200 others are injured and more
One
than
person?
200. No, we're just going through it.
Okay.
We're going through it. Yeah, that's how it started. And more than 200 are arrested
started that
during
way.
the nationwide protest against proposed tax increases. Now, the government says it is ready for conversations with anti-bill protesters. Now, Parliament of Kenya assault. Now, the parliament buildings in Nairobi are set on fire during protest against the finance bill, while 10 protesters are shot dead by police. The numbers could differ. Kenya police units arrive in Haiti for a United Nations-backed security mission to restore order during the protest. Now, President Ruto declines to sign the controversial Kenya Finance Bill 2024 into law following the assault on Parliament on 25th of June, and thousands of people protest in cities across Kenya calling for the removal of President William Ruto. Pretty much everything around the protests that we experienced in the country. And I don't want to call them Gen Z protest, because this was a protest by Kenyans in this republic city. What do you think? Let me start with you.
Gen Zote.
Gen Zote, yeah. It wasn't Gen Z, Gen Zote.
Oh my God. I remember June like it was yesterday. I think it had progressively been protest. And, you know, it started being fun. And let me give you a scenario. There's one time in between, before the 25th of June, before we decided to, we didn't decide by the before for the assault on Parliament. So we used to go to town, meet at Koinange Street. And first of all, I think the Muslim community needs to be given its flowers, and actually very many other persons that came into the play. We had Muslims that came to that art cafe there in Koinange Street, just above opposite Ruby's. Yeah. And they bought protesters lunch and water. So if you were feeling overwhelmed, you just go upstairs to art cafe, get food, and come back and share with others. And these 3 guys paid for, I think, 100 people. Which is absolutely amazing. And then there was Java. Java opened the door for us to go inside there when we were being tear gassed.
Seriously?
Yes. There are a couple of things that happened during the protest in June that need to be brought to light, apart from the deaths and whatever, which is also equally very important. Java, there's a Wochi who ended up being fired later, but there was a Wochi who we all had to go congratulate, because he opened the gates, let people get inside, closed it on the police, and took care of the protesters. There's also Jamia Mosque and Holy Family Basilica. I have to give it to them too. Yeah. Churches really came through. Same to the cathedral.
Yeah, All Saints.
They are All Saints. We had medical tents there. Us, I think in Holy Family, in the medical tent, were tear gassed thoroughly, and we were being given water by sisters from their rooms or whatever that is. That protest was a lot, and that day in Koinange, what really touched me was how we really just conjoined music, art, and unity in that protest. There was absolutely everyone. I didn't see at Kikuyu Gen Zs, oh my God. And I think it was very, very difficult to navigate what exactly is going on in this movement. It was all of us. And that's why you saw Nani telling us that we are arriving in Ubers. Yeah. We protest, we record with our iPhones, we go to KFC. But that was it. That was it. There was absolutely no classism, no differences, no tribalism. We used to gather on TikTok. We discuss how exactly it's about to go down tomorrow. We discuss with the DJs there's this guy who came on a boda with a speaker one time.
Baby, come down.
Yes,
come down.
Like we would sing to the police, and stuff like that. It was absolutely beautiful. And I think one of the few things that I'm actually doing behind the scenes is writing and documenting around those realities. It was such a beautiful artistic revolution. I think the only problem we had was police.
And you see, on that day, City, I happened to be on the field on the day. I think the day when the protesters were dancing is the same day Rex was shot.
Yeah.
Yes. And during that time, City, I couldn't help it but just get in and go with the groove, because it was Kenyans had assembled, they had pledged or rather presented their petition and said whatever it is they had to say. They congregated. There was music. They danced to it. They celebrated till night.
My God.
And these were Kenyans who, you know the way we were talking earlier in terms of there are some places in the CBD you fear going, including the street children, the dirty ones, they were there, they were dancing and celebrating. That is the spirit of patriotism that I saw on Kenyans who came out to agitate, rather to ask that right is done by them. And all that just changed and turned in a twinkle of an eye, because tear gas came, gunshots came, and that club that was there, and when people were dancing, because all that was happening is, those protests were organized such that they would come, they would do their thing, gets to time, people go home because they're tired and they need to go rest and plan how they're coming back again.
Yeah.
But when the shootings started, people started running away. And that's when Rex was killed. And I remember that day I was outside Hilton when Rex was taken to that hospital that was there for first aid attendance, and he didn't make it.
It was so, and you see, again, I feel like it also showcased how important it is for businesses to be supported. Yeah. The music was not coming from protesters. No. Clubs and restaurants, when we all flooded in Moi Avenue, we danced and there was no stealing. Yeah. We danced and partied because some random launch in Moi Avenue decided, let me put the speakers on the corridor, let the protesters listen to music. And that solidarity was so important. But equally, the murders. I was in Parliament Road when they killed that young man, when the police officer came and he found out it was his own brother who was shot.
Yeah, yes, I remember, yeah.
You remember the guy, unfortunately, who was, his brains were blown up. The brother came there.
The brother was a policeman.
Yes. Civilian clothed guy. He came, he cried, he said, I'm done with the police. I could not do this again. They have killed my own. But people were like, but it's only because it is your own that it matters right now. It could easily have been anyone.
Anyone else.
But that body, even when people were trying to... people left that body there the first time because when they tried to pick him up...
They were
being shot at. And immediately in the same road, there was another beautiful young man. He had worn a white... A white...
and I think he was a teacher.
Yeah. And he was doing a beautiful dance. He was just helping the crowd, because he was very significant with the color, just helping everyone know where you're supposed to go. They shot him immediately after. And when they were carrying him, that's how they ended up putting his body right next to the other guy whose brains were out, and they held the flag. It was that bad.
And you see, City, when you talk about these matters, we look at Kenyans who are on the streets. They had flag, water and masks.
Firimbi.
And their music,
and
their
phone.
dance styles,
and their phones.
And most importantly, their fashion.
Yeah.
City,
people dressed up
for the protests.
Did you see the skaters? Oh, City, we also had a guy who could smoke the canister. Smoked tear gas. It's pretty interesting. Well, it was satirical, in that I think he had put whatever it was on the entrance, and then it ended up trending. There were skaters who were skating with us to lead the way. Like the amount of art that was happening in that protest, if not police, that should have easily been one of the best protests the continent has ever had.
It is. We actually had in the studio a gentleman who was an UN official in charge, I'm going to paraphrase here, youth affairs and such matters, and he told us that he came to this country to witness this thing that they've never seen before. He said, this is new. We want to understand it. So it isn't as though it was in vain. By the time something catches the attention of the United Nations, it has caught the attention of the world.
Yeah.
And the good thing now turned bad, and that also caught the attention of the world. And the discussions we were having earlier in the first hour, we were talking about what the IG of police knows and doesn't know.
Yeah.
You see, this discussion is made potent by these happenings that happened months before. Who gave the authority for young people to be shot?
Yeah.
Yes.
To be killed, because there's a chain of command.
Who?
They need to stop, the aloofness, because that is the same question we were asking. And one of the few things that we also did during the Gen Z protest is that we avoided mainstream media. And why did people do that? So that we could actually call and name everyone who had been killed in the protest across the country. When they killed Rex, if people did not go collecting those bullet thingies,
they call shells.
The shells, yeah.
Bullet shells.
They call shells, yes.
We wouldn't have found anything to go back to those police officers if people didn't record. We wouldn't have found any. You see, I went for the burial of Bisley Kogi. It was in Laikipia. Oh my God, those parents. That mother was broken, and we brought that to light too. We asked for consent in those families, and we're like, you see that pain? That is exactly what we want to showcase to the world, that on choosing to be patriotic, that is exactly what cost, or that was the end result. The police brutality that we received in June City was so unnecessary. We were 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds. In fact, we told our parents, stay home. Leave this one to us. It was children battling with the state. It was so devastating. And then you see, even in the medical tents, most of the time you'd receive people getting panic and anxiety attacks. Because they went there specifically to safely just say, we don't want the finance bill. But now you're hearing gunshots and it's paralysis. Mind you, there were kids. In a Holy Family Basilica, I think the day that I was being told by the cops to go back, they're just about to start killing that I should take care of. The kids that were coming out from school, again, the classism and how unfortunate it is. You know, there's some schools that are usually in downtown.
Yeah.
These kids walk to home.
They do.
We found them on the road, holding each other's hands, trying to go home. And for me to think about what institution is this releasing kids right now when they know there's a protest. Because the protest used to happen Tuesday, Thursday. We picked those kids, took them to the Holy Family Basilica. We were tear-gassed thoroughly inside that church, I swear to God, and we were shot at around 8 times. Until I had to walk and tell these cops, you guys, I'm even treating fellow police officers bila ubaguzi. Why would you shoot at a church, at a medical tent? And you know I have things there that are explosive. And this is acidic gas, and people have open wounds. Like, there was such animosity going on within the police. And even after describing all that, this guy really looked at me dead in the eye, pointing a whole gun. And he was like, this is just the beginning. We're just starting to kill. Go back to the medical tent and wait for more bodies.
I think, City, let's...
Very interesting.
Let's take in that first, yeah? We take a break. When we come back, we continue with this conversation. But before we take that break, let's talk about wealth. Sawa City.
Yes.
Now, and when we talk about wealth, it's about the Standard Chartered Priority Banking, and they understand your financial goals are unique, and whether you're planning for retirement, building a foundation for your family's future, or just making your wealth work for you, they offer solutions that fit every life stage. Now, with a dedicated relationship manager and access to expert advisory backed by partnerships with global fund houses like Allianz, Amundi, and Franklin Templeton, your wealth journey is in their hands. This is about real, lasting solutions for today, tomorrow, and beyond. If interested, the email is prioritybanking.ke@sc.com.
A holiday in South Africa sounds something like this.
The brunch with girls, the sport,
the paragliding,
the bucket list,
the vibe, the company,
everything,
the energy.
No, for real, babe. And we made new friends. Yes.
Yeah.
And cheers to sweet escapes. The sweet escapes.
Your adventure in South Africa is just around the corner. Get 15% off flights when you book a holiday to South Africa on KenyaAirways.com. Come journey with us.
And it is exactly 40.
The weather with SpiceFM.
And yes, indeed, let's talk about the weather first before we get back to our conversation right here and now. The weather in various parts of the country and the world, pretty much. You talk about Nairobi, highs of 23 degrees and lows of 14 degrees. In Kakamega County, highs of 30 degrees and lows of 12 degrees. And in Mombasa, highs of 31 degrees and lows of 25 degrees. Now let's go to Kampala, Uganda, highs of 28 degrees and lows of 17 degrees. And in Kinshasa, Congo, highs of 32 degrees and lows of 23 degrees. Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, highs of 32 degrees and lows of 27 degrees. And in Paris, the city of love, highs of 5 degrees and lows of -1 degrees. That is your weather. These are good morning.
Talk every morning. Spice up yourself.
And yes, indeed, it is 41 minutes after 8 a.m. And yes, let's talk about Loop City. Now, Loop is here to make sure that you are able to shop easily. Now, it says that the Loop Shopping Festival is ongoing in various malls. City, you're in various malls around you, by the way, around Kilimani, yeah? Yeah, I'm not saying where you live. I just know it's.
You just said where I live.
Yeah, but not specifically where. But anyway, yeah. Right. So it is about Loop has got you covered with incredible deals from a wide range of merchants, including Hotpoint, Quickmart, Barter, Tac, and all that. They are making sure that you are able to get amazing deals to cater to all your needs in the Loop Shopping Festival, where you get incredible deals and offers, plus you get 10% cash back. Now, with Loop, you also enjoy the most affordable transaction rates in town across any channel. Easily make payments to any account or business, pay all your bills easily, and even set up automatic payments. Now get access to quick loans, overdrafts, and buy now, pay later solution. Lipa mdogo mdogo. Yes, what is more, Loop is coming to a mall near you and is making sure that you are able to do all these. And we say, why wait? Loop it, download Loop today. CT. We were talking about the June protest in the country and where we were with that. City, you were saying something about the IG, what he knows and what he doesn't know.
You know, a lot of what I say is guided by historical facts.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that as a yardstick for looking at what is happening now and comparing and understanding the aftermath of events that I may consider similar to the ones that we're seeing. When you have a political system that seems to have divorced itself from the realities of its people, then they will be chasing what you call the past. Let me explain. I mentioned this at the beginning of, it was sometime last week or the week before, and I was saying the difference between science and politics, as put across by a certain 19th century thinker, saying that the thing about science is it seeks to look at answers that may be useful into the future. And the thing about politics, politics tends to deal with problems, and usually problems of the past. What do I mean? A broke government is not the government, a new government in power is about. Usually they've inherited it. And what they need to be judged by is not what they inherited, but what they do with what they inherited. Now, if they continue with the trajectory of doing what the government before them did, and which brought to that situation, the outcome will be worse, much worse, because they will be worsening a bad situation, as opposed to a previous one, which was found a situation that was palatable and good and made it bad. Now, this one inherits bad and makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So the judgment upon them will even be harsher.
Yeah.
One isn't going to philosophize about what they found. They'll be reacting to their lived reality at the moment and saying, this is what we're feeling now, and it's you who's in power. And we can't go to the past and talk about, because that person can't help us now. It is you who is here, and it's you to help us. Now, it's from that perspective that you look And I look at the it's a concerted conversation that we always have regarding what the Kenya Revenue Authority does and our budgets and the monies that we have. And we've asked in this studio on many occasions, if we collect 2 trillion, why don't we just budget with 2 trillion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've been given very many esoteric answers and things that people who understand financing and economics better than I can explain. But the question that has bedeviled this particular government is this incessant need they seem to have for taxing the smithereens out of the citizens. This conversation took place in 2019 and 2020, leading on to 2021, when Uhuru Kenyatta was still the president, and it was during the COVID era. And that discussion led to advice being given by people who understand these things in our Ministry of Finance. And they said, look, you need to give the citizens reprieve. This COVID is giving them a difficult time. Okay? And you know what? The government did give reprieve. Taxes did go down. Now, the strangest thing happened, believe it or not. The targets that were set were met. We even overshot a little bit. Yes. Yes, we did. We did. The targets were met. Now, when then a government insists that they must raise taxes, this thing of austerity measures has been debunked so many times on this planet.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we need to see for us to understand it doesn't work, because it has never worked. When an economy is on a downturn, you inject money into it so that it is revived. When I'm suffocating, you don't add more water to my nostrils. You add oxygen so that I can breathe.
Yeah.
Now, somehow, the government feels that in its wisdom, that's how they're going to go about things. That target will not be met.
Yeah.
And then there's a small matter of the debts that we have to pay. This one has to be discussed. And in the new year, this thing has to be discussed seriously. What on earth are we paying for? And all these monies that we say we owe, do we as a country really owe it? Because if a previous government got us into this debt, and now the debt is supposed to be the debt for the state, I say no. It is my debt as a member of this particular club called the Kenya country, when that money was used for my welfare.
Yes.
If it wasn't, sorry.
Follow up on the fellas that ate the
Sorry, the people who got that debt, start with Parliament, who approved it and made sure that you guys, you're the ones who know why you borrowed that money and what it was for. So please, you borrowed it, you used it, pay for it. But you can't burden me with something that I really, honestly had no say on. I didn't see the benefits accruing from it. Because at the heart of the problem we keep discussing every single moment we talk about here is what we are paying takes 2/3 of what we collect. That situation is untenable.
Yeah.
And then that is supposed to justify now the borrowing so that we can meet the needs. No. That argument emanates from a false premise, and we are in doldrums where you're constantly being told how you do not have money, and yet there's always money to be spent on all manner of other things.
Yeah.
So, if you ask me, I'm saying that the need to relook and to understand, apportion blame where it is. If the Uhuru government went and blew money, we say, this is what they blew. So don't lump all of it on Ruto. No. Lump Ruto's debts on him. This is what Ruto borrowed. And let's discuss what he borrowed, not what Uhuru borrowed. He may have been that government, but he was not the president. We name governments after the president, not the deputies.
Yeah.
Now, that is our lived reality. And then there's this matter of own-source revenue within the counties. It's a crying shame that people live in these counties and they're Kenyans and they get on with life and they pay their dues to the government in terms of levies, taxes, and whatever else people pay. And yet counties insist on not factoring the importance of own-source revenue. And yet every county has a revenue.
Yeah.
And yet within the counties we have individuals who don't own any business where you even sell dead ants, and yet they are wealthy. So you ask, where on earth do you get your money from? And it is fine.
Yeah.
Not government. This is not national government. County. And we see them. Somebody who not very long ago would take their shoe to a cobbler, meaning you have to repair it.
Profundi.
Yes.
All of a sudden,
vehicles, houses, what?
Jets. These people have helicopters now.
That is where the money has gone to. It's not very difficult.
Not rocket science.
When you want to talk honesty, I'm not even worried about the national government. That's not really my concern. Not at the moment.
County.
My concern is how this devolution is being bastardized. The whole purpose of devolution was so that locals who understand the needs of their own locals cater for it. And what do we do?
We plunder the resources.
Yes,
for
the Auditor General tells us tales of war and tales of horror, and it's with every cycle. What am I saying? The problems that need fixing can be fixed. The willingness to fix them is something that we have not had. And this was the citizenry coming in saying, look, we want you to fix this because this is why we put you here. Fix it.
Yeah. And City, when we talk about matters to do with public resources, every year we have budgets for, say, if it's health, for security, for defense, and all these things. Yet, when a public officer, a politician falls ill, they are flown out of the country. They do not want to go to the same hospitals that we budget for. Which begs the question, is it by design that our hospitals never get the services, never get the equipment, never get the drugs? Because they know at the end of the day, I can go to London.
Okay, take the view. The monies we talk of that we've budgeted for.
Yes.
If you look at August the 20th, I've gone ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Are we still in the second quarter?
Yeah, let's go with it, yeah.
Your hand is to go there?
Yeah.
All right, let me just go there as an example. One of the things that money that is budgeted for security does, it affords you street lights. So places are well lit.
Yes. Yeah.
It affords you health facilities where you can receive healthcare. It affords the police service with the equipment that they need to do what they're supposed to do. Good vehicles. Everything that goes that service is provided for. Hospitals that have equipment and that have all the wherewithal required to provide adequate services. In the absence of all that, then you have a shell of what it is you're supposed to have, and anything that can go wrong can go wrong. That is why it is 42 women can be killed, chopped into pieces, dumped. And you're telling me in a place near a police station and nobody knows about it.
A blue zone. A whole blue zone.
Nobody knows about it, really. Nobody reported this matter. 42.
Collecting into the fact that Kware is 100 meters from a police station.
It is, isn't it?
It is.
So I'm simply saying this, that there's nothing that we're dealing with here that we cannot fathom.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that we're dealing with that cannot be resolved. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But the morass that the people who are elected into leadership have gotten into, where they think it is their duty and mandate to plunder and pilfer as much as they possibly can, and while we sit and watch, let me put it different, while we sit and watch and cheer them along, now you see, that is why we are where we are.
Yeah.
If we say no to the plunder, it won't happen.
Yeah. And you see, Steve, it's coming at a point where in 2018, my brother died.
2018.
Sorry.
And it was a point when you take him to a public hospital, no facilities. You know, until you decide to go to a private health facility, you know. And during this time, this is an individual who had his own job. He would do all these manner of things. But you go to a hospital where he would get the services. First of all, it is misdiagnosis. By the time you realize the medicine he was taking had really consumed him, that now what we were doing was trying to repair the damage. All that in a public hospital. When you start talking in that county, someone comes and tells you, unaniuliza kama nani, who are you? You know? And this is the leadership and the county governments that do exist. This is from a personal experience. And this is not just me, it is each and every other person in that county that we are forced to go to mission hospitals, to private hospitals, because what should work is not working.
Not working.
You know, and this is the story of Kenyans out there. It is why today, CT, we have hospitals in this country that cannot treat cancer patients, that every time CT name Chango twende India. Chango twende India. What is so great that India has done with its healthcare that we cannot learn from? Can't we offer those services here? We can. But what do we do with the budgets that we have for the healthcare? We plunder them.
We do. If you look at just the events that took place in that quarter that we are speaking of, as we move down, and everything, most of it with the exception of the 2024 Summer Olympics, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the outbreak of Mpox, and the suspected serial killer, Collins Jumaisi, Halusha, everything that we then look at there that stood out was political. The president appoints ODM people, broad-based government. It was politics. It was politics. It was politics. But it also speaks to how it is that those who are in political leadership seem to think that the political maneuvers they make solve the problems. It does, but it solves their problems, not the country's problems. It solves the problems of either their legitimacy or the need they have to hold on to power. It may solve it, but it solves it temporarily. What brought about these discussions, if it remains unmoved and unchecked, then it's not a problem that has gone away. It's a problem that's waiting for you around the corner. It hasn't actually moved anywhere. And when that happens, even when positive things like the price of Muga coming down, nobody seems to notice. Even when you look around and you say, actually, comparatively, despite all these problems, we can move. There's no shortage of fuel. It's a bit expensive. There's no this. The things that are positive and you should praise are diminished because you're overwhelmed by these other issues. Yes. So then, nationally, we then become a rather myopic and a negative lot of people, where our approach to any issue is to look for the worst possible interpretation. Worst possible. And no one is content to look at something and say, can we balance this discussion? No. What is the worst? And if you listen to a group of Kenyans talking, it is an exchange of tales of war.
Yes. And it's from all fronts. Like you sit down in any I've been in a space where even priests are complaining.
But they've been complaining often.
Like I think when you specifically put a country in a place where all fronts are not working, it doesn't require just change. It requires collectively we need to fix this place. And I think that fueled, going back to the analysis of that really fueled the June protest. It was the fact that nothing is working. You know, it's one thing to have one systemic thing that's not working, but you go to hospital, you can't access SHA. They had also increased our university fees in between. They are trying to cut Karura right now to build a road that goes nowhere. Nairobi River is a problem. Spillage and drainage, like everything is pathetic. So, when I think about this government, surely,
See, that's the thing. These are things that are happening. In theory, some of these things ought to be positive.
Yes.
But look at the way we hear. And our response.
Our consumption is in anger.
We take the worst possible interpretation of whatever it is that we see.
But right now, don't you feel as if right now the positivity around everything wrong that is happening within the governance is the fact that people have now united against the systems? Because Kenyans are taking it upon themselves, taking these matters to court, LSK mobilization. There's so much going on within the general public.
And I'd say, City, as we finalize, all these wrong that seems to be there. If you talk about SHA, if you talk about education and all these things, the way the government is pushing it, on paper seems like it's a very good thing that we should be celebrating. But how is it packaged to us? How do they communicate to us? Or is it just being shoved down our throats without us understanding what it is you want to achieve? City, let's take a break. When we come back, we continue more into June, and then we get to we also get to talk about now Adani. We talk about Chief and Shah, and also the femicide in the country. After this short commercial break, it is 9 a.m.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself.
Na the DCIO anaendelea na kuandika statement ndio tujue chanzo za ugomvi ulitokea wapi.
ODM Deputy Party Leader Geoffrey Ososi has waded into the ongoing discussion about the rising cases of abductions in the country. The Vihiga Senator has expressed dismay at the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja's statement that the police do not know who's behind the abductions.
Mambo ya abduction ya wananchi. IG anasema ajui wale watu wamefanya abduction. Hii ni aibu sana. Kama IG ajui wale watu wanafanya abduction, sasa yeye kazi yake ni gani? Sisi tunataka tujue ni kina nani wana abduct watu wetu. Ndio Kenya isonge mbele.
The judiciary has also raised concerns over the abductions, even as police deny any involvement. The judiciary has urged security agencies to adhere to the law and safeguard fundamental rights and freedoms. 82 individuals have been abducted since June this year, and 29 are yet to be traced to date, according to the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi has reiterated the government's support for Raila Odinga's African Union Commission chairperson's bid. Speaking in Vihiga County during the 45th edition of the Maragoli Cultural Festival, Mudavadi said the government's support for Odinga is not pegged on preconditions.
And I want you to pray, tukiwa hapa 26th of December. Let us pray so that by mid-February, kwa sababu kuanzia January, niko kwa barabara tena kutafutia Raila nafasi za kura katika mataifa zingine. Mimi nawaomba tuombe, yeye ni ndugu yetu, ni rafiki yetu, apate ikifika katikati ya February tuwe tunatangaza kwamba Raila ameshinda na yeye sasa ndio atakuwa chairman wa AUC. Without condition. President William Ruto is supporting Raila for this without conditions.
A section of Kenyans have claimed that the government is supporting Odinga because he played an integral part in quelling the Gen Z-led anti-government protests that almost brought President William Ruto's government to its knees. Ukrainian forces have captured an injured North Korean soldier who was sent to support Russia's war, South Korea's spy agency has confirmed. The soldier is believed to be the first North Korean prisoner of war captured since December when Pyongyang deployed forces to support Russia's war in Ukraine. The confirmation comes after photos purporting to show the wounded soldier circulated on Telegram. North Korea has sent more than 10,000 soldiers to help Russia, according to Kyiv and Seoul, though Moscow and Pyongyang have neither confirmed nor denied their presence. That's the Newswire. I'm Edwin Lisamira.
Spice, Kisi.
And it is exactly 5 minutes after 9 a.m. Welcome to the Situation Room. In studio with me is CT Muga, together with Zaha, as we continue to have this discussion. Zaha Lucy.
Indimuli also works.
Okay, Indimuli works, yeah? Okay, sawa. Now, Steve, when we were talking about matters to do with where we are as the country, 2024, I think let's go back to our proverb of the day.
It helps. And the circumstance we're in, I think the proverb would shed a little light. A fly that doesn't listen to advice follows the corpse to the grave.
This government
isn't very different from the one before it, by the way, just so that you understand.
Yeah. And I think even earlier on in the year, we were accrediting Uhuru to his own issues, analyzing his debt, and we also did the same to Ruto. And I think it's just because we couldn't do one for Kibaki. I'm sure we'd find Moi if we had those data.
The data is available. Yeah. Remember one thing, governments are a continuum.
Yeah.
And William Ruto has the misfortune of coming at the tail end of other presidents.
Yeah.
So anything that wasn't fixed just got moved along, and now it has landed on him. Bam!
Yep.
And Kenya didn't want to know whether it was Kenyatta 1 or Moi 1 who started. They're not interested.
Moi 1. Yeah, because we're in Moi 2.
Yeah.
No,
anyway,
it was everyone was 1 except Kenyatta, which was now 2, but everybody is 1. Nobody wants to know.
Yeah, but City, the only thing that has existed throughout is what is to do with unemployment, and every government has been grappling with that. And now we have partners like KCB who are coming in to making sure that they address matters to do with unemployment. And they are saying that the Tujejeri program works in 3 phases. The program sponsors training for students aged 18 to 34 in technical training institutions to equip them with technical skills or upskill them to maintain NITA certification. Now, the program incubates the enterprises created by these students by offering business development services. Here, now, the youth get one-on-one mentorship, how to register business, create business development plans and proposals, marketing, bookkeeping, legal and advertising. Now, third and finally, when the graduates are ready and their ideas have been vetted for bankability, they receive credit they qualify for to advance their business interest. Now, this is also the point where the KCB Foundation exits and the bank enters to support business growth. KCB says, you have an issue, we'll take you through education. After that, we will help you register a business. After the business, we'll give you credit. After credit, we'll give you to the bank, and they will make sure that they do what? That they handle your business and help you grow while at it. All this information is found at kcbgroup.com/foundation. And you see, City, after all this is said and done, I'm making my own money, I just want to relax and I want to travel. And while at it, I want to travel with a pajama, a duvet, a limousine services. City.
Drink champagne.
You know the
champagne.
You know the one of the things that drive us in life is to improve our lot.
Yes.
You want to do something better than your parents did it. You want to do something better than you did last year. And that's where the issue of a new year and resolutions and so forth come into play. The understanding that life can actually be better, and that whatever situation you find yourself in, you can actually improve. You can set right what was wrong. And when setting right what was wrong is where now the term forgiveness also comes in. Yeah. But usually forgiveness has to be preceded by somebody admitting that there was a wrong somewhere. Now, Emirates have got it right, not wrong.
Yes.
They have understood that if you're going to travel and you have money to spend, why don't you pinch a little bit, save a little more, and travel in a way that makes the traveling experience worthwhile and something worth looking forward to. Yeah. Airlines have always had a business class. Emirates now introduces a business class that is beyond first class. They make sure your journey begins from the time you are leaving your home, your office, to get to the airport. Until you get to your destination, conduct the business, and come back. And in this package, they give you the same experience. You are one chauffeur driven. You get on to the flight. You are welcomed in a manner that can best be this. Yes, exactly. Immense style. Exactly. Zap. Okay.
So demure.
Yeah, very demure, very cutesy.
Yes. As I said, you may actually sit and pinch yourself and say, is this really me sitting here and enjoying all this? It could even be surreal, but it actually is real.
Yeah.
Because you will experience flying in a manner that you've never experienced before.
Yeah.
Who ever heard of somebody sleeping flat in an airplane 40,000 feet up in the air? Who?
The privacy.
Exactly. If you're somebody who enjoys a good meal, my friend, they'll do you one better. They'll give you a choice of those wonderful meals. If it's something you like to drink, man, they'll spoil you for choice.
Champagne.
Bas, and everything else, whether it's vino, you name it.
Salute.
Yes, if you're the sort of person who likes, well, something that has perhaps a little malt in it and perhaps distilled, or you just simply like the simpler fruits of life in liquid form, they will give you everything you require and then some. Look up the details of Emirates. Look up the details of Emirates business class. If it's a goal, make it a goal. Next destination, Emirates business class. Come back and tell us what your experience was. We assure you it'll probably go beyond what you expected. That's Emirates business class.
Pump. It's for the buddies.
Indeed it is.
And yes, indeed, City, it is for the bodies. It is indeed. Now we're back to at exactly 12 minutes after 9, and here we are talking about. We're pretty much just talking about the year in review, how the situation has been in the country, right? And as we speak right now, City, we were at June, just to be specific, we were in June. Now, here is a question where now the Finance Act has been thrown out. The same members of Parliament that passed it were celebrating that the president has finally kicked out the very bill that they protected and passed in the National Assembly. Kudos. Let's clap for them, City. Good job. And then after that, now the president sends away the cabinet because Kenyans Gen-zote demonstration said we want a change. Send them all back, save for Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. And when it comes back to employment and appointment of new cabinet secretaries, some make back to the cabinet. Yes, that is what Kenyans wanted. I don't think so. Conversation start. Comes to now bringing everyone on board. Broad-based government. Leta hii watu ya opposition hapa, ka hapa, tusaidiane kusukuma gurudumu ya maisha. Kenya isonge mbele. Clap for Mr. President. And then City later now we see handshake part 2. Handshake 1.2. Amani 2.1. Yes, finally, President William Ruto and former President Uhuru Kenyatta met. They shake hands. And then what do we say? The Ichaweri Agreement. Bring forth the former people. And finally, City. Hustlers and Dynasty married. One big family. Let's move forward. City, comment.
Oh my God. Essay, 200 words.
My friend, where exactly are the hustlers? In this conversation, where are they? I've heard you. But
oh my God.
Where are the hustlers?
They're not there. They were never there in the first place.
They are there in the manifesto.
Or unless I take Waziri Murkomen's definition of a hustler, he said, you guys seem to think that a hustler must be poor. No, he said, hustlers don't necessarily poor. A guy who's working and struggling and etc., and something equally nebulous, blah, 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 blah. Fine. Fine. The more things change, the more they remain the same. The French said it. I even know what it said in French. But since I will bastardize the language, I will not attempt to even say it. But how exactly does that resonate when you are dealing with a citizenry that want assurances on basics? Are the political formations and configurations going to provide that solution? Because at the end of the day, everything that we spoke of in June that led to the protests had to do with the finance bill, which was completely out of touch with the reality that Kenyans felt at the time. So let's just touch on the basics. Have all these things that we've seen, how exactly is that movement helping solve the problems? Food.
Yeah.
The price may have gone down, but because more people are out of work, fewer people can afford.
Yeah.
So when someone tells you inflation is down, true it is, because the demand has gone down. Inflation is driven by demand.
Yeah.
If the demand has gone down, you can make it as cheap as you like. It still won't be bought.
Yeah.
Because people can't afford it. The numbers can't afford it. So we find ourselves in this interesting situation where a political problem seemed to have been solved. It's called a problem of incumbency. And now we are left with the larger problem of what the citizenry want. Are you legitimately looking after our interests? Do you give it the genuine concern that it does? Or are you more concerned about your own survival?
Is there even a place that, evidently describes just their choice or their focus in making their government a people's government by any choice? Even in their manifesto, I think the only part where we were involved as the people was the fact that we were reminded that they were hustlers. And then there's the rich, and that he was first a farmer. And the whole diversion around poverty and making it look as if people are supposed to be drawn out of it. But how about transformation?
Very true indeed. Once upon a time, when I was a child once, and I began my education by going to a school in a place called Katolo, called Yogo Primary School. We used to go there in the afternoons. We all went to school barefooted. So you cannot tell me I was poor. No. Everybody went to school.
Everyone was barefoot.
Everybody was barefooted, including the teachers. Some of them had some plastic shoes called katanga, which they used to wear. But everybody went to school barefooted. There are people I played with who didn't even have shorts. Shorts were for specific days like Sundays. They just had these long khaki shirts, which was like a skirt that reached just below the knee. Those people had meals every day. They were not poor.
Yeah.
So when you talk about what it is you did and everybody did it, sometimes what it presents in modern day as a sign of poverty was at that point in time wealth.
Yeah.
If you are selling chicken, it means you have chicken to sell. There are people who didn't have chicken to sell.
Yes.
If you are selling eggs, means you have the chicken and the eggs to sell.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the market, because where are you selling?
Yes, exactly. All I'm saying is you must contextualize some of these things. It's like in certain parts of the world, someone says they have a car. It's not considered a wealth proposition.
Yeah.
It's just a means of transportation.
Yeah.
And anybody can actually buy one, so it's not an issue.
Yeah.
It is here when a value depreciating asset is called what? Wealth, a car. We find ourselves in this situation where the problems we had in June are still with us.
Yeah.
And then some have been added on top of it.
Because
how do you provide a solution where people who've lost their jobs can now get their jobs back? That only happens if you expand the economy, and then you have an economic policy that is taxing people. That's not how an economy expands. So, if you are looking at everything else that we're looking at that have to do with this particular part, now let's sprinkle it with specific incidences in the season. Zah, you wanted to say something? The things that happened in that period. Who passed away? Who got killed?
Cheptegei.
Yes.
You know, Rebecca was burnt alive. And in this country, femicide is so brutal. And I think the other time we were having this discussion, I remember I really, really focused on the fact that I had to make sure people understand that femicide is the intentional killing. It's there. I will constantly remind you that I will actually kill you.
Yeah.
It's that I'm the closest person to you that I'm actually going to end up being a perpetrator.
And there's nothing you do about it.
Yeah. Cheptegei was just from the Olympics. And I think the small money she made, she came here and she was like, let me get some land, let me settle. I have this boyfriend, nini. Tell me why this guy decides, this land you're buying, but it's mine. And sets her on fire.
Douses her with fuel and then lights her up.
Exactly.
And then she runs out of the house when she's on fire.
Fire. And I really thought about that case. And even before we had most of the movement members, I remember we had our was in Gishu and the Eldoret county coordinators supporting the families. It was devastating. No one has had anything like that around there. Of course, I know they are, but they have never gotten their attention. This lady was burnt up.
Alive.
Yeah.
And then he also had some burns.
The guy, yeah.
Yeah. So it begs the question, And I think over the time, as we've been dealing with the June protests, as we've been dealing with Adani, whatever, we've just had an uprise of femicide. And the more we come to find out about them, the more brutal.
They get.
Beheading. Can you imagine Rita Wairimu was beheaded? She's 20 what? She was 21.
She was 21.
There is that case that happened in Kilimani where that lady was dismembered and actually even skinned body and just the bones dropped at was it the Langata cemetery.
That's Hashim Dagane.
Yeah.
And it was said he's Ethiopian, and in Ethiopia he had run away because again he had murdered his wife.
Yeah.
And you see, for you to skin For you to skin somebody's meat off the bones, cut the bones into pieces, put them aside, carry these bags one by one until a CCTV camera catches you. You see, we've gotten to a point where it's so normalized. Right now, the best Kenyans are doing is consuming the information on these murders. But Cheptegei was crazy.
It affects you.
It does.
It does.
And very adversely too.
Yeah.
The human brain wasn't designed to deal with such things.
I know.
Not really. You take that information, it's brutalizing you as you take it in and you don't even know.
It looks like, and I think that's also partly what our programming has been, telling people that you don't really have to wait until it happens to you or near you. It doesn't. Because when it does, it's worse. But before it does, we are consuming so much murders. You know, they kill children now, and the target is reduced.
It has, but you know, when you look at the things that happen that catch your eye, even as you're talking about, we then had a school in Nyeri.
Yeah.
21 students died. 27 can't be accounted for, some were injured. And you ask, there's an inspector that deals with these schools. What happened?
The Russia fire?
Yeah.
Yes. You're asking what happened.
Yeah.
You have to ask what happened, because it happened how? How did it come about?
How did kids burn alive?
Precious Talent, somewhere near Ruta, had a similar situation where the buildings collapsed, and that was a few months after the inspectors had been there.
Yeah.
So you wonder, when the inspector, are they just going for a walkabout, or do they actually look at the viability of the buildings?
City, you know, they would actually come, look at your building. It does not meet the code or the standard, and all they would tell you is, sasa tuone kando ndio hii maneno tuachilie.
The people who actually who are responsible in that ministry, they should have been a mass resignation.
True. Literally.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Should have been two thoughts about it.
We spoke about it and kept quiet. But now when rush happened, that one, just mass. The people who are charged with that specific duty, just leave your job. As we investigate what you did or didn't do.
And you saw what they did after. They changed the uniform, they repainted the school, and learning continued.
It's a bit someone's business, isn't it?
Yeah, recently we saw there's that report that came from the ministry, and that school has not been closed, but the boarding facilities, the boarding section of the school has actually been closed. So there is no boarding in the school.
That's window dressing.
Yeah.
The problem had been there. It doesn't mean the problem has gone, because the problem exists because of the mindset of those who are supposed to ensure this safety. Has that mindset changed? The answer is no.
No.
They've actually color-coded that whole issue. The painting of the school is real, but figuratively that whole issue has been painted.
Yeah.
But around the same time, we did have employees of the Kenya Airports Authority at Jomo Kenyatta saying, we're not putting up with some of these things you guys have to say.
Yeah. A done.
Yes. And at the same time, the Kenyan agreed with the labor migration. We saw 250,000 skilled and semi-skilled workers go to work in Germany.
Did they go?
They did. You don't go at once. You go in bits, because you may qualify, but then there are certain tests you must pass. There are certain proficiency understanding you must have before you get there. And right now, Europe is actually in the throes of a nationalism that we haven't seen in a very long time. Oh yes, when they don't want foreigners in their country.
Yeah. I've been seeing it happen in Poland too.
It's happening everywhere.
It's happening everywhere, actually. Try applying for a visa today, then you'll realize how they don't want you there.
In Germany, the problem they're having seemed to be the Syrians. Merkel opened the doors and said, folks, we had our issues and our problems and people helped us. We must open these doors. France has had those things for quite some time.
Yeah.
There's a politician called Le Pen. It's written Le Pen, but I'm told it's pronounced Le Pen. The N is silent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Double consonants.
Yes, but it's not the only place. You go to America, they have a similar problem.
Yeah.
But the American case I find particularly interesting, in my opinion. All these people kicking a fuss are the foreigners. The Native Americans
Indians.
That's their country.
That's their country.
All these people are immigrants. All.
Isn't it a United States of actual foreigners?
Everybody except the Native Americans are immigrants. Second, third, fourth, whatever generation. They're immigrants. Now look at how the immigrants are behaving against other immigrants. They are immigrants. Parts of California was actually in Mexico.
Yeah.
It's Mexican.
Yeah.
Now, again, so this nationalism thing, but we're in the throes of it.
Yeah.
And yet, European countries have an aging population.
Yeah.
But let's not leave Asia out of it.
Hey, Tokyo.
Yes, Japan and what have you.
Japan are fighting for their lives.
Even they're genuinely aging population. The neighboring Asiatic countries around them, it's not loudly spoken of, but you will find that there are instances where there's also nationalism. They don't particularly have they don't chase you out, but they don't open it up for you to just walk into the country.
Yeah. You know, when I visited Korea earlier in the year, and the young people in that country that I got to engage with, people are married. Are they thinking of having kids? No. Why? Kids are expensive.
Phobia movement.
And that is them. Like, I can't have a child because it is expensive raising a child in my country. So the government is actually even coming forth and giving people incentives just so
literally you're being paid to give birth right now.
Good country, that one.
Korea.
Good country. Here on this continent is a guy called Gaddafi who did that decades ago.
Yeah.
Decades. Even gave you a house. Give you, and paid you for the child.
Yeah.
Meaning, school everything free, but there's a stipend you're given.
Yes.
But you're also working. So you're talking about a welfare state. Gaddafi was way ahead of the curve when it came to this one. Way
ahead of his time.
Yes.
Way ahead of his time. Now, City, let's go down to, we have now the airport saga. Adani in, President says, Adani must be here. Then comes Amenya. Amenya says, Mimi na wewe mpaka mwisho. And then before we know it, the United States of America says, oi, this guy
is a
fraudster. Then finally, the president says, because of ABCD, decided to cancel. Had Kenyans not warned you already?
Yeah,
but it also tells you who he's listening to.
Yeah. His masters.
And actually, that's where I was going to. Do you feel like, as we sit here today, that we have a leadership that is a leadership put in power by the people, is listening to the people who put him there?
I think he does listen. But on specific and special issues. Broader picture, I believe he listens. I have come to this conclusion that this being president is harder than it looks.
It is.
And I've also come to the conclusion that whenever you see the changes that we're seeing, it is someone trying to make sense of their presidency and trying to do what they think can work. But I also see a conflict. Because while trying to do all these things, there are personal interests that seem to run afoul of the very things that would have been of national interest. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zaha.
Oh my God. You know, I'm actually learning from CT how to actually look at things both ways. Like, despite being exposed to consume such negativity out of this government. But I feel like he does listen for sure, but he responds to the masters. I think he responds to where the money flow is at. Because, my God, we didn't need the US to tell him that Adani is a fraudster. We gave, I think Gen Zs had even done a whole list of any other airport these fellas had massacred before.
Yeah.
And still, we had to wait for the US. It doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense. I think he picks and chooses what to listen, but he definitely responds to what would make his masters happy.
All right. Now, City, we're in the last quarter of the year. I think let's take a break. Let's take a break.
Yes.
We come back, we talk about
impeachment,
deputy president, new deputy president, abductions. I was not in charge. All that after this break, as well as we just celebrate the festive season, right?
Spice FM. Spice up your
And yes, indeed, it's a feel-good Friday.
Is it Friday?
It's Friday. It's Friday.
Oh,
yeah, it's a feel-good Friday.
Yes.
It is a feel-good Friday in the studio today, and we're still in the festive seasons, and we're feeling good about it. And we're talking about the year that was 2024, the year that was, all that happened in the country. But even while at it, I just want us to talk about matters to do with wealth city. Now, it is a question of imagine the peace of mind that comes with having a financial partner who understands your vision and works with you to achieve it, city. Now, it is the Standard Chartered Priority Banking. Now, their SC Wealth Select framework connects you to diversified investments that earns returns across currencies, that is Kenya shillings, US dollars, the pound and the euro. Now, from tailored advice to global expertise, Standard Chartered helps you to grow and protect your wealth for the generations to come. Let's take the first step towards a solid financial future by emailing prioritybanking.ke@sc.com and discover how Standard Chartered Bank can help you reach your goals. We keep talking about the future. We keep talking about how good it is for us to plan. And when we talk about these issues, also comes the fact that the government also needs to plan, needs to come up with solutions. The government needs to ensure that each and everything that they do is calculated and planned. Today we talk about matters to do with the entire debacle of the impeachment process that against former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
Is it really a debacle? Okay, on whose side?
Depends where you are. Yes.
Because if anything, this was a sign that some of the processes that are constitutionally allowed actually work.
Yeah, actually, that was exactly what it shouted. Because in my head, I was like, so if that has worked for him, that should be the same process for everyone else.
Not only everyone else, the process of impeaching a president and the deputy is the same. Same.
They don't live as a team. Why? And they came as a team.
No, one is impeached. The president wasn't impeached.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really hope Gen Zs are watching this one. Now we have homework.
No, the thing is, every time you see these difficult situations, including what happened on June 20th, painful, really genuinely painful. But these are the footnotes, and then the sentences, and then the paragraphs, and then the books on which we actually etch our learning.
Yeah.
Because from that point onwards, there's no pretending you don't understand, because you've seen it. And it's not a question of someone telling you. You've probably experienced it and witnessed it. So you then, a new understanding dawns and you realize, this is what I thought. This is what the reality represents.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that I think parents never quite understand is that having children is not just a simple process of children growing up. You also need to grow up as a parent.
Yeah. And grow with.
Yes, children help you grow up. I am using the word grow up because grown-ups think they're already grown up. We hardly are.
Yeah.
Because our capacity to be childish is immense. That one you carry with us to the grave. But children help you grow up. Just like marriage, it helps you grow up.
Yes.
You come across things that ordinarily you don't particularly want to face. You come across children who tell you things you don't particularly want to hear.
Yeah.
Or when you pause, you realize that they actually have a point and they're actually right. And because they are children and there is no substitute, you didn't have others in the cupboard, so that when you're not happy with these ones,
you can change.
You change and bring the others from the cupboard. No, they are a constant. It is the same thing with the citizenry. They are a constant.
Yeah.
And if the citizenry have taken a certain view, that's the constant. You have the choice of understanding what is happening, as they say, smelling the coffee or not. It's a choice that you have. But we are fortunate because we're actually seeing our constitution playing out, and we're actually seeing the consequences of the constitution playing out. This is a rare thing.
Yeah. The freedom of expression also has become very important this year.
Yes. Yeah. Again, it's a rare thing.
It's very developed. Yeah.
It's a rare thing.
Looking at what happens in places like Mozambique.
Don't go far. Don't go far.
Uganda.
Tanzania. Don't go far.
Hapa Namanga tu hapa.
Hapa, just around the corner here. Go to Somalia. Just here. Don't go too far. Go to Eritrea, which is just a hop away.
Yeah. And I think it's the things that I think should empower Kenyans to notice that power still very much lies within our own hands.
And that is why, if you look at the limitations that African presidents tend to have, if you have to have a score, this president scores well. Despite everything else that you're seeing and the things we find reprehensible, he scores well, despite.
Because there's active,
Oh, yes.
There's active role play of the constitution.
Yes. There's intolerance and what have you, but you also see acquiescence and you see all these things.
And it actually plays to a part where the president not only just scores locally, but even globally.
Yeah,
He's considered to
democracy.
a person who is supporting a democracy as an individual who allows the constitution to play. Even when we talk about the impeachment of the DP, talk about sending away the entire cabinet, rejecting the finance, all that is allowing the constitution to play.
It's a precedent. It's happened. Yes, it has happened. So
it's very difficult to associate this government with any.
You see, it can't unhappen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, cause effect, they may have been responsible for it, but they've etched something in our history which you didn't have.
Yeah.
And now we know. So when you talk about moving forward, moving forward, not from here.
Yeah.
We
Next
were
time
here. We were not going back there. This is where we are. No, moving forward.
And you see as well,
my God.
when you talk about even the wins and gains that we get to celebrate and appreciate as Kenyans, is the fact that, or rather the president that there is William Ruto. William Ruto, as we were approaching the elections 2022, he really pushed the agenda that Kenyans need to understand their constitution. And Kenyans credit it.
There will be no abductions in my government.
Credit him for that. He made us really love this constitution. Only that Kenyans also knew that because you made us really love this constitution, we will use it.
But that's a double-edged nature of the constitution. He wasn't president then.
Yes.
So the constitution wasn't too much of a headache for him. When you're the president, it is a headache. By the way, it's a headache for any president anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
The law. Oh, yes. Remember, we choose from amongst ourselves, human beings like ourselves, to be leaders. So they will have the same feet of clay. They will be susceptible to the same influences. And that is part of the reason why a little experience is often required before people are sent to certain positions.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, the deputy president is unfortunate. The immediate former. His situation is unfortunate.
Yes.
Yeah.
One-term MP, deputy president, no. That leap was too much.
And especially
too much.
Especially after he's been a career civil servant.
Yeah. He has been serving in government, Moi's government for a very long time.
Not just your average
as your DO.
Provincial administration.
Oh my God.
The provincial administration was not a debating society.
Yeah.
It was a I command you obey society.
Yes.
Now, when that amount of power is put at your doorstep immediately, how do you think you're going to react to it?
Yeah.
In the best way you know.
Yeah.
And you're struggling to figure out, hey, maybe this shouldn't. Man, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Power is a lot.
If somebody who has been in politics all his life never lost an election once, like the president.
Yeah.
He's been a minister, he's been all these things. He now has the presidency.
What do you think he cannot
exactly
do?
All these things that you spoke about before you became president don't go anywhere. They are right there. Now it's you dealing with them. Everything else that is new is piled on top of that.
Yes.
And then the choice you made of deputy is piled on top of that.
Yeah.
And then you have a repeat situation to the one that you had when you're deputy. Voila. Is in life an XYZ?
It is.
It is.
Mwenda tenzi na omo.
Yes.
Mwenda tezi na omo.
Marejeo ni ngamani.
So, here we have a Swahili proverb which I don't understand.
The proverb master finally.
What is your national language? Titi?
Or Swahili.
Oh, but I'm afraid this year has also just really, unfortunately, which as somebody who believes, I really don't want to grow up into being a parent that wants to take my kids out abroad so that they can have a better life. I want that better life here. But this year has really exhausted Kenyans, that everyone is looking at their best point of exit.
Many people are, and they want out. Remember,
everybody wants out.
Let me explain something. If you look at this country, we all look at and admire America. I'm not saying Australia, I'm talking about America specifically.
America.
Many people who went there were not wanted in their countries. Well, the pilgrims, but people who had a problem with the regular society of the time. So they were looking for a better place.
Yes.
But you see, the really interesting thing is they got that better place. Look at how they treated the people they found there. Just for starters.
Yeah.
Worse than they had been treated where they had come from. Worse. They decimated those people. Literally decimated those people. When they were done with decimating and they settled, wrangled among themselves, fought to the people who had made them run away in the first place, got independence. Chief function, how to stop other people from coming in here. This is human nature, and we must never remove the human nature from the person. Because most of us will never be anywhere near the sort of power president has. Never.
Yeah.
So what we can do is study it.
Yeah.
Someone like President Mwai Kibaki, remember, was it his third or fourth attempt when he became president?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what had that man not done before that?
Before that.
Minister, vice president, what had he not done? But significantly, how many presidential elections had he lost?
Yeah.
So what do you think he learned? He had clarity. And even then, the presidency was difficult. Why? If it wasn't difficult, we wouldn't have had a referendum.
That he lost resoundingly.
Clear. I mean, that one, as broad as daylight, that thing was done, dusted.
Yeah.
Decisions were made. 2007, 2008, we had something nobody wanted or foresaw.
Yes.
We killed each other. And this is a man who had had the experience. We come into modern times, and he didn't have this restrictive constitution that we have. Restrictive for somebody who wants absolute power. It's very restrictive. Because it's telling you, you have yours, the citizens have theirs. In fact, actually, they have the power.
They have the power.
Yes.
Because at the time, actually, the president didn't have any restrictions.
No.
Yeah, Moi really did the most brutal of things legally.
The man was actually a monarch.
Yeah.
The Kenyatta one was a genuine. The name president, yes, but they just did what they wanted. Yes.
I was being narrated to, Paddy?
Paddy Wubon.
I have a cousin called Paddy.
Outside the tent. Nyuma ya tent.
Anyway, guys, I want us to look at everything that has happened this year and the lessons we have learned as Kenyans.
Oh, man.
And how, as we get to 2025, we become the better versions of ourselves, or we improve our situations in this country. Personally, I look at the Gen Z, Gen Zote demonstrations, and I say that is a win for us as a republic, because then people, the Kenyans, have tested how much power they are. Finally, Kenyans realize that we are the employers. They have to play by our rules.
Yeah.
We don't have to play by their rules. And that is actually etched in anyone who will ever want to get to political leadership of this country. They know that Kenyans, and also this is happening at a time when the majority of the population are the young people. So this experience lives with them longer.
If there's one thing that a voter in this country or a citizen, what we call a mwananchi wa kawaida, needs to understand, it's human nature to let power get into your head. Good governance is in your hands, not your leaders.
Yes.
Once in a while you get somebody who's really minded and who has concerns. They are rare, so don't bank on it. Bank on the adverse nature of human beings and ensure that doesn't take control. And you can. Politicians need the public. Politicians need the acceptance and the questions of the public.
Yeah.
They need it. It's the air they breathe. In the absence of it,
they need the opinion.
They do.
They do.
When they realize it isn't going one direction, they change. They change. So you must make them aware that certain directions are not happy. You're not happy with. They will change and do the things that you want them to do.
Yeah.
City, when you say they change, oh my lord.
Oh, this one is a very different breed.
They change.
This country.
They change. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has changed.
No, I think once you...
Yeah, but he has... when you hear him speak...
He's very polite now.
Would you not think that this man has been the opposition all along?
Yeah.
And no one was listening to him. Would you imagine that this person was actually the deputy president of the country?
Okay, let's talk about another change. The current president, when he was the deputy, has he not changed?
I thought that thing would humble him to be better, but...
He got power.
My friend, let me tell you, when you want something that badly and you get it, it can do untold damage to you.
Yeah.
Because you're now here, it's yours. And we always give you time and space to sort of like fiddle around and figure out what you want to do. And in that process, you actually imagine that you have unlimited power. So when you tell you don't, you react somewhat because you've been stopped. You've been told, So what do you mean? And told actually what we mean is you don't have, what do you mean? And then the what do you mean session is what we've been going through. Actually, this one, perhaps it isn't actually in my interest.
Yeah.
So what do? The very people who you said, there are people who go behind the tent, so they want power, so they want what? Never. And then ever.
But civilian dictators are worse. Oh my God.
The civilian...
There's absolutely no remorse to the same people that you did dive into begging them for the votes.
But are these people really dictators? No, they're not. No. These are spoiled. We have spoiled these people.
We have spoiled them.
Yes, because we make them believe we like being bribed. We make them believe that we enjoy listening to all these speeches which mean nothing. We give them that belief. We attend public functions. We are always there clapping. And we've built a road. It's your job. Why am I clapping? When somebody in my house cooks, do I clap for them every time they cook for me?
I blame you parents because us, we don't attend these things, City. We boycott fully. And I think that's why you were hearing Gen Z saying we will steal all your voters' cards.
I am in full agreement with you because my daughter has categorically informed me that some of my parenting skills are wanting. So I know.
Nothing new.
You're in the age.
No, when you're told that, pause and think.
Because we're not saying you're a bad parent.
What has this person seen that you clearly are blind to? I've been told categorically.
Most of the time, especially you parents of ours, it's just communication, really. It's just how you communicate things. And your anger management, since you were beaten thoroughly and you want to blame us for it.
Me, I don't have anger management issues.
It manifests very differently.
You see, that's what I tell myself. If I had to ask my children to say you.
Let me tell you, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think we will attend these things. I don't think we're giving them the profile and the space to do what they did to our parents. And I think that's why they're so uneasy with Gen Z. It's because we see really through the manipulation. It's an age of information and tech. Half of the things you say, I can easily go to Google and find out that you're lying and debunk on that, So right now we're deplatforming them thoroughly.
Remember, we grew up in an era where we respected elders. We didn't go around interrupting elders when they spoke. Even when we knew they were lying through their teeth. Okay? You see the generational difference?
Yeah.
And we carried it on to political leadership, which was an even a more elevated leadership. And the unfortunate thing is we were feeding the monster and we didn't know we were feeding the monster.
Yeah. But Kiamba... Anyway, we'll not get into detail.
No, that's fine.
Kiamba, and how right now I'm seeing the church being the first one to now come and criticize. Like, didn't you see that before?
This, when you talk about capture, don't ever underestimate it. I spoke about a generational culture in the way we went about things. The leadership in the church of that same generation. How do you think they're going to behave? Yes. Give it time, let people. It is when the younger members of the congregation tell you, we know you're priest and all this thing and God. Yeah. We also get, because this God, we also talk to him, okay? This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. then you get to understand that perhaps I need to listen a little more keenly.
Yeah, because we had to threaten them. We're not coming to church.
Yeah, that can bring a bit of a problem. Church attendance is important.
Yeah, especially for them.
Yes, it is.
We had to threaten we're not going to church for as long as they keep taking these bribes. Then all of a sudden on live media, they're returning the money. So it's like us in our generation, we have to call these things
yes,
out.
You do. No, not call. No. Act on it.
We're doing both.
You see the change that you're talking about. Remember, even as we end and we talk about the end of this year, in the history of this country, we have never, ever, ever seen. Let me start with what we've seen.
Yes.
Individual prelates coming out and speaking, saying this. The entire organized structure of the church telling you, same thing. It's never been seen. It's never been seen.
And we've done it this year thrice.
Now that, and I talk about religious, not Christian, religious. And everything they're saying is exactly what you, Gen Zs, were saying. Exactly the same. So did the message get home or not? It did. It took a bit of time. But it did. But it did. Now,
all right.
Are you telling me that those in leadership don't hear? Other than you hear, even if you don't want to hear, you hear.
We'll send prayers.
Okay.
Even if you don't want to hear, you will hear.
Yeah.
We have exactly 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
City, 3 minutes, then we wind up.
That's a guess. Give her 5 minutes.
Jesus.
5 minutes. Just 2025. Let's talk about 2025 and how we're getting into it. 2024, we've talked about 2024. Now let's talk about 2025 and how we're getting into it.
I'm a Gen Z, so believing that next year is a snake year. Snake year in the Chinese zodiac. Okay. I think next year is one year that everyone is going to definitely make it. It has been planting season the whole of 2024 as an 8 year, meaning money, reclamation, etc. Next year is where you just believe in yourself and go right about it. And I think that's what I'm very excited for. I'm excited to do the things that I've always wanted to. I'm excited to grow. I'm excited to see who I am in my most ideal, futuristic, fulfilled self. And I'm super excited to love life again, to love my country more, to love the work that I do, to love my siblings who are Gen Zs more, to learn and consume as much as I can, because it's also a very good year of wisdom. A lot of reclaiming my power as a woman, reclaiming my power as a young person, and just reminding myself that this place has to be better for me to exist. I don't have to leave. Yeah.
City. Bless you.
We cannot talk about constitutional moments without us being constitutional ourselves. We cannot criticize the government of things that we in our own spaces are involved in. Corruption is not a monopoly of the government. We are, as Kenyans, we are well represented when it comes to corruption, no matter how small. Unless you renew and change your mind and you actually act upon that change, we will be exactly where we've been before, and we'll talk and continue talking. But change comes about when you've changed. If you want people around you to change, you change. When you change, you force other people to respond and to interact with someone different. So they have to change. And if those who are for the change in this country that they speak of, then you yourself must represent that change. You must change. Not point a finger at somebody else who must change. You change. You be that different person. And then the person and the persons relating to you will have no option but to also change.
Well, 2024 might have been a difficult year for the country, but as well with that, we have discussed here how through the difficult moments we've had some wins as well. And as we get to the year 2025, it can only get better. I mean, positivity is what must reverberate not only to us but to the entire world. As we keep on talking about there's the leadership issue, the leadership crisis that there is, perhaps it's about time that we also sat back and remember that the power that we are given by the Constitution and how it is our responsibility to make the right choices. That at any given time, it is our right to speak against that which aches us, that which pains us as Kenyans, that which pains us as the citizens of the world. Because we keep saying that the world is a global village. Therefore, it behoves upon us to speak against any ills wherever and whenever it is they happen. And here at Situation Room, we want to thank everybody that has made this show a success. Our producers are Ian, Lydia, Edna, Eric in absentia, Ndu City. Salute for all the, how many proverbs have you given us throughout the year?
Many.
Yeah, all the proverbs. Our digital team, Avin, Asha, and everybody who just made this a success, including those who started. We praise and thank Tom Japani for being the person behind these, Brian Obara, Brian Ebusa, the entire team, Jerry Thorne, who started these, and we have grown to be where we are today. Equally to all the guests that have made it here, just talk to them.
Man, we are very, very grateful. I mean, the quality of conversations that the guests have made possible, the insights and the expertise they've brought in. I have to thank management, specifically I have to thank the transformation team, without whom very many things that we see here would never have happened. Sometimes you don't feel very inclined towards thanking management or thanking the board. But thank you isn't necessarily because things happened that made you happy. But things happened that ensured that we have a business, we're getting on, and things are improving with every single day.
Yeah.
We thank God for those mercies. Not for perfection, but for progress.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And finally, I just want to thank our clients who've made us be able to pay our bills, made us able to be here, who've made it possible for us to be able to move on every day. There are many. Like today, if you just look at the list that we had, all those who trusted us with their business, we've continued to deliver to them. Asante sana. And finally, to you for listening, for you for joining us, listening from far and wide. Tumikia Kenya, Tibbs Muga, we have Victor Lesuyan, and many others. Conversations are still ongoing on the year that was 2024.
And all these people all over the world. I mean, New Zealand, you're talking
Houston.
about. I even know there's a place called Bonnie Lake.
Yeah. And there's a guy from Phuket.
Yes, can you imagine? Thank you, all of you. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, and from that point, we say happy holidays and happy new year to Patani 2025.
Majaliwa.
Majaliwa, inshallah.
Yes.
Asante sana.